ready, and the time is 1 o'clock. Chillmonger's ready, so the show's about to start. The beat's steady, so the flow got a beat too. You like my intro, so I made one just for you. Chillmonger, he be from the north. 33 questions, you got no other choice but to check him out and feel his vibe. He got one of the hottest shows alive. So have a seat and tune in. Chill is ready, so let's begin. 33 fire questions. Chillmonger made these questions. Please check out these questions. Saturday, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't you miss it. Don't miss it. Peace.
It's Saturday and I'm all alone. I don't need people to do my own show. I can just come here and kick it. Because when you turn on this, you didn't expect to hear Chillmonger spitting. In the comments section, I got the philosophical pickle. He says, ha 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 ha, well done with the intro, well done with the title, well done with the thumbnail, well done to get done, you'll get done well like a steak. Or an oxtail. Chillmonger. Burning questions, 33 of them. I've got them. People who I've invited to the show are plentiful. Pickle's one of them. Others include SSJK.Sanctum, who should be here whenever he's usually here in the first 5 minutes. And I just wanted to say, thank you guys for joining me, and I will get on to the questions as soon as they arrive. Hey, you know what I haven't done yet? A Ms. Marvel episode review. Because the time, you see, this is the thing. I get overwhelmed by something when I know I need to talk about it and put in like a lot of work and really get it's going to be a good one. It's going to have a lot to say. I don't want to forget something to say. So I put this pressure. I put this pressure is the one. And that's maybe pressure's shit. Who cares? I put pressure on myself to make it the best possible way. So the review, because I'm not going to do many reviews. Personally, I could go scene by scene, do a little 3-minute video here, post another 7-minute video there, just for the sake of content, thumbnails, and content. Everyone's favorite word, right? Second Street Marvel, content. I could do that. I'm not doing that. Neighbor to the North is in the building. D Steezel's here. He says, we live. And then he puts the 100. The underline too. That's right. Live, 100. But it'll only be a third of that. It'll be 33 Burning MCU Questions. Intro, if you guys like that, is by Comic Chat. Danny Graham. That man does the best intros here on YouTube. I only say that because he does mine. Of course, he doesn't actually do the best intros on YouTube. That's a false statement. I haven't heard every intro on YouTube, but of course, there's a tier that you can go higher than what you just heard. But gotta say nice things for people who do things for you for free. Appreciate that, Danny. Question number 1 of 33 Burning MCU Questions here is the best song that was played in Ms. Marvel. Live chat, I'm asking you too. Let's put up some candidates there. What comes to mind immediately is Feel So Good that Mace made. They also played that song when Kamran came out of the swimming pool. That was a big hit on TikTok. Very timely too, because that just happened. You know what? That's again. The songs were selected in post. So yeah, that scene was shot and maybe that song hadn't even come out yet. But then a year later, hey, you know what would fit really well in this show? That song that they played. Jalebi Baby, I think it's called. I know it's called that. I just don't think I'm saying it right. We've got another song that they played when she was like in love and singing it, but then she talked to her mom and the music stopped. And then she went back to that song that was playing. That was a cool one. Be My Baby. What was the Running Up That Hill song that is like boosting up the streaming numbers? Because I heard after Stranger Things played Running Up That Hill, Kate Bush made $2 million from streaming royalties. Awesome. So Spotify, Tidal, iTunes, those places hooked her up with money for a song. That's the magic of owning your content. That's the magic of long-term success. Like, that's how cool is that? You've come accustomed to sort of a poorer life. You're not hitting stage after stage, making all of that money anymore. But then here you are, some work that you did years ago is just funding you. That's like if I made my Who is Ironheart video. Imagine if what's going on John's Comics with Kids. Imagine if one of my videos just seemed to take off 3 years from now and just gives me money. And I'm over here going like, oh, cool. I just made $30. for something that I did back in year 2021 when I did that video. Imagine how cool, like that's awesome. So I like that musicians have that ability now. Um, if all it takes is for a TikTok an influencer to just use your music, use it, other people copy it, all of a sudden it's all over the world and it's awesome. I'm in favor of stuff like that. So haven't watched Ms. Marvel. You're in the wrong place, buddy. But it's cool folks are digging it. I'm critical of it, but yeah, it's okay. I would just say nothing in this recent episode was considered I'd consider bad. Filler, sure, but it doesn't like, how could they do that? This is the worst. I can kind of see where they're going. Kate Bush revival is a great example. Mhm. I can see where they're going with this new episode of Ms. Marvel. They said like the way that the grandmother got free or found her way was she looked at the stars. Kamala is probably going to go in the past. There will be a time loop where she goes and is the one who produces those stars, and she'll follow the trail of the stars. I can see where it's going, and it's not too creative, but hey. Question number 2 of 33 burning MCU questions. Where does 838 Captain Carter live? Is she a New Yorker? Is she someone from Great Britain? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I think that 838 Captain Carter has to live in New York. You guys remember how Mr. Fantastic just sort of came in using that technology? Didn't he? Didn't he? Okay. Well, if he did that, then he's had to be really far away. Captain Marvel, she probably got there really fast. You just have to beep her, right? All Mordo did was beeped her, and she came. Yeah, sure, I'll be right there. She was the first one there. We're just gonna wait for Captain Carter to drive in because Captain Carter lived in New York City. Definitely, Captain Carter is New York born. Just because she's British doesn't mean she resides there. Even the regular Sharon Carter, Peggy Carter, even the regular one moved over to America and spent her days there. So of course, even the superhero one lives there. That's how everyone got there, guys. Now, he drinks the tea. Doctor Strange drinks the tea. Doctor Strange goes out. Doctor Strange is asleep and woozy and everything. And here he comes all of a sudden. He's waking up and he's in that tube, talks to Christine Palmer. Then they transport him to the Illuminati. So let's say like 3 hours pass in between all of that time. Enough time for Captain Carter to get there. Yeah, exactly. Kate Bush is related to George and John. You made a typo, so you ruined your own joke, Trinity. It's a very different version of Ms. Marvel than the comics. Yeah, this is Mrs. Marvel. This is Madame Marvel. This isn't Kamala. What up? LOL. Yo, I had no clue what today's topic was. Oh, it's 33 burning questions. 33 burning questions. Silly little title that I had to do. Just get the views in. And look, we already got 10 people joining. Question 3 of 33 burning MCU questions. Have you streamed Multiverse of Madness yet? I was anticipating a panel of people. And again, I did send enough invitations out to people. If anyone wants to join me, here is, I'm going to copy it. I'll put it in the comment section. If any of you guys want to join me, here, join. That's the invitation there posted. Kingmonger, King Tony. Yeah, I'll ask this one later. I did watch Multiverse of Madness, and I know that New Rockstars did a breakdown video. Now that they can pause it, see everything in HD, they've got a video up also breaking down the Easter eggs and things that they may have missed, that you may have missed. And yeah, of course I had to because I liked the movie. When other things, when Shang-Chi got on there, I did watch it eventually. And Eternals, however, I've still not done the Disney Plus visit, and I need to do it. Question number 4 of 33 burning MCU questions here, chilling with Chillmonger. And we got question number 4 is, are the Revengers ever going to reform? I think that was just a little joke that they had in Thor Ragnarok. Seeing in Thor Love and Thunder, a new sort of team of people with Korg, with Thor, with the Valkyrie. I know Jane is in there. They're probably going to link up with Zeus. They're probably going to meet up with another hero or maybe Beta Ray Bill. Will the Revengers ever form and say, look, we're back. We're the Revengers. Loki's here. I don't think so. I'm going to go ahead and say, no, the Revengers are done. It was here and it was done. Like Hulk is not returning. That's it. Question number 5. If the only way Ant-Man could kill the enemy was to anus enter, would he do it? If you only had one, this man went to prison, guys. Remember, that's key in considering this he'd have to do it. For his daughter, he's not someone who's like above or below that. This man will do the task if it needs. He has ass on his mind. He's the one who nicknamed Captain America America's ass. He'd do it. You know those podcasters, you know how they could be. Definitely would if that was the only way for sure. 7 out of 10. Not as good as it should have been. I had it up as 9. Maybe it's down to an 8 because recency bias and I know when you're wowed at the theater. Maybe I'd put it down to an 8. Could be longer. Probably is an 8. One day I'll do those tier rankings. Maybe I should after this Thor movie because it'll be a good considerable amount of time until we get Black Panther again. So maybe if I did like one of those tier ranking things, I'd have this one in the 8 category. Not in the 7s though. No way it's going to be down in the 7s. And like 7 is low for the MCU. 6 I think is the lowest I'll go for an MCU film, unless we're talking Eternals. But even then, remember Eternals, as much as I am not a fan of it, I did not watch it in HD. I did not watch it at a theater. I saw it on this little screen here at the Chill Mansion with like audio from a guy with a camcorder. Like that's whack. So I do got to check that one out again and see what I got to do. See what I have to see if it's good. So D's Diesel gives it a 7 out of 10. Question number 6 of 33. Cast Howard Stern. Where is my cast right now? Who could cast Howard Stern? Folks in the live chat, if we were going to give Howard Stern a character, who would it be? You guys going to go with Magneto? Are you guys going to go with Doctor Doom? Where does this guy fit in the MCU if you were about to cast him, Because I don't know where I would do with this guy. I think he'd be a cool little cameo as literally Howard Stern himself. The same way that they used Bill Maher in the Iron Man movies, just use him to cut away. Oh, look, there's actual real life media personalities talking about this significant thing that happened in the Marvel universe. And that's his role. I don't see Howard Stern being cast as an actual kind of character, not as a superhero. There's not many 70-year-old superheroes. I got Howard Stern as just a Howard Stern. So repeat viewings are always the final test to see if their stuff holds up. That's totally true. That's right. He would to save America. Shang-Chi is a 7.5. Everything else this phase is below that. Is it the best movie of this phase? No, I still got Doctor Strange over it. On the film side. On the TV side, the best series so far, you might say Ms. Marvel. I would lean still toward Falcon and Winter Soldier, except for the decision to consider him Captain America, which is I didn't like. Oh, Spider-Man, that's true. Especially except for that decision, I would say that Sam Wilson's show was just entertaining week after week. They were at a new place with a new setting and story being addressed. Something was brought up, something was closed. It was just episodic. And then the relationship between the two was awesome. I hope they're texting each other today. Like there was a good, if any relationship from the Hawkeye series, okay, with Caden and Clint. Of any of these relationships, I definitely give it to Falcon and Bucky. Bruno and Kamala, there's something there. Loki and Loki with Sylvie, kind of bizarre. Didn't want to ever get into it. It was very If we look at Wanda and Vision, that was a bizarre one. They were fighting each other. I was more interested in Monica Rambeau and her relationship with Wanda. I'd give it to Falcon and Bucky as a duo. Chillmonger, what up, brother? I'm chilling. I'm just doing this show solo. Thought people would join me. Sent out a couple of invitations, so I know people will climb in. If you want to join in Basco, you can join in. Just scroll up. I already put the StreamYard link up there. Question 6 of 33. Burning. I'm at 7. Why or why not will Blade have hard light? See, this is the thing, guys. When you start giving new superpowers to these characters, that's what happens. I'm going to ask this dumbass questions. Why won't or why will Blade have hard light? There is no criteria to any of this. Why in the heck would Blade all of a sudden be shooting lights? He's a vampire slayer. He's got his sword. He's got his fangs. In no way is this man actually supposed to have light powers that pop up. Same thing with Kamala Khan. The fact that she is no longer a polymorph, yes, she can embiggen her fist, and it seems like she's using that part, but the glowy hard light thing is so stupid. I don't get it, and I just used this question as an opportunity for me to shit on Ms. Marvel's superpowers changing. Just below What If. I don't count What If. That wasn't in the MCU. That was in the other use. Question 8. Why or why not did Monica Rambeau have hard light? Same question all over again. Hey, she'll be used in the Marvels movie. Captain Marvel 2 is called The Marvels, and what we heard was that Kamala Khan's powers needed to change because of where they're going to make connections later on. It's different than the continuity in the comics. So this will be a much more easier way to kind of seamlessly enter the Captain Marvel 2 film. This is our idea. Okay, person who gave me that shitty explanation. Why doesn't Monica Rambeau have hard light? There's no answer to this question. That's the D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown was a professional wrestler. During his entrances down the ramp, he would bobble his head that way. If you don't get the reference. Question number. Well, she's a jinn. She's not a Muslim. You can be there's Muslim jinn. Jinn can exist and worship, and they could be sinners too. But she's not though. It's just like they said in this recent episode. They explained that if Thor would have landed here, we would have said he was a jinn. But it's just the word that they were using at the time. So they kind of backpedaled away from what they were going for in the first time we kind of heard Kamala Khan speak to the clandestines. They backed away. They backpedaled it. They're saying that okay, the word that they use for supernatural beings is that in this region of the world. But if it was in another region of the world, they would have said Bigfoot or whatever. There's depending on where you are, where you land. Question number 8, 9. Is it a bangle or a bracelet? Live chat, bangle or bracelet? If you were to say this to me before the show started, it's a bracelet. The amount of times they use the word bangle, and I've heard the word bangle and read it in articles, bangle, bangle, bangle. I'm going with bangle now. And this way, whenever I say the word bangle, I will only associate it with that thing that Kamala Khan wears around her wrist. I'm a bangle. Wish I had a panel of people. We're 17 minutes in here and no one has joined me yet. Did I not send these invitations? I'm going to go open my Twitter messages. And yes, I did. I totally did. Okay, Back of the Bus is going to come on the second half. Pickle says he might be able to, I shouldn't read exactly what he said, but that's a maybe. K. Dot, I got a confirmation. Sergio from the House of Nerd Show, I'm expecting. Couple of new. Oh, Tim. That's what. Tim's talk. I sent him an invitation a couple days ago, but I didn't go, hey, we're going to begin today like I usually do for sometimes for people. I'll tell them like 10 minutes ahead. I didn't do that. Okay. Tim. I messaged Tim. Started. So Tim Possible should be here. Tim's talk from that YouTube channel. Okay? Okay. So bangle or bracelet, people? Bangle, it's thick. Is that a dirty joke? A bangle is thicker than a bracelet? So if it was a thin little bracelet, a French bracelet thing that you make at school, arts and crafts, that's a bracelet. But a bangle? That's a bangle. Okay. Yeah, sure. What y'all know about D'Lo Brown? You messing with the real deal now. He was in the Nation of Domination. He was the first member, and he survived that first cut. When everyone was cut off the nation, he kicked off Clarence Mason. Remember, Clarence Mason is the boss. Dots the cross the T's and dots the I's. He tells the truth, the whole truth, and never tells a lie. Yeah, that was amazing. That we just called back on the 1999 era. Basco, what up? Facts. Question number 10. Will Kamala meet Aisha? Yes. I do predict this next episode coming up. Aisha, she's definitely joining. And Aisha's going to be here with Kamala Khan. That'll be the thing. Will anyone join my stream? That's the question. Let me put it in one of those group chats. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put the invitation link in one of the group chats that have like 17 different YouTubers, and then there's gonna be 40 freaking guests all pop up once. Here, I put a link on Twitter. MSK, Isaac. There's a lot of people in this group chat. Question number 10, will Kamala meet Aisha? Yeah, she will. She's got to. That's the whole point. This is the time loop thing that they're going to do. She's going to meet her ancestor. She's going to learn more about the bangle that she has. Maybe the two bangles will unite and it'll activate her powers even more. She'll have hard light and soft light. It's not that sounds stupid, but so does changing her superpowers. Question number 11. Loki season 1 was blank. Loki season 1 to me was a decent show, but I'll say Loki season 1 was slow, okay? There was that filler episode in Lamentis. There was a lot of rules that I wanted to be explained to me in a fun way where they would have adventures. Well, they had adventures, wasn't very fun to me. I think that I was confused towards the ending of it. So Loki season 1 was confusing. I'll still go with slow. I'll say slow is going to be my word for what was Loki season 1. I wouldn't say it was pretty good. I would pretty good. It's my least favorite of all the MCU shows, even though it had the highest profile actor. I also had a confusion about how since in the TVA they'll take away all your magic and your powers. Okay, he's a blue frost giant. He's a blue frost giant. Isn't he supposed to remain blue while he's up there in the TVA? He didn't. Odin's magic after he died. Odin died and Hela came out. So when Odin dies, his magic doesn't have any lasting effect. Or Frigga, the mom. I got questions, bro. And then you also say, yeah, I think so. Do you think they are doing the nega band? Yeah, I do. When she first put on those bangles, she kind of fell back and she was in this alternate world. It was all blue. I think that's the negative zone. And then in this most recent episode, they showed you a map. Oh, this is where you are from, and then the dimension they're from. That dimension is also the negative zone. I think it's the nega bands. Chill, I did some research and I found out that the popular girl that Ms. Marvel saved is a lesbian. That's true in the comics. Do you think Disney will make her that way in the show? She is. She is that way though. Like, so the answer is yes. How do you make someone a lesbian though? How do you like you are or you're not? Do you mean what you mean is will there be a scene where it is addressed? And nah, there's no, but also I was gonna say the reason I say I know no is because there's no place for the story to show that. However, this whole entire show has been diverting from the story just to show you other things all over the place. It's my big beef where they're trying to highlight these cultural themes at the expense of like a story that's supposed to happen. How many shots are we gonna see? Oh, look, she's in town. Oh, look, she's eating biryani. Oh, look, she's eating whatever. Look at the scenery. There's a lot of that happening. So yeah, they could just for a moment stop the show and go, by the way, Zoe is coming out of the closet. Yeah. She might do that in season 2 though, because by the time that happens in comic books, it happens. This is the story, okay, Tony, since you asked. There was a villain who was revealing people's data and revealing people's like secrets, and she would write emails to Nakia because that's who Zoe liked. Zoe liked Nakia, and then she would delete them or something like that, or it would be in her drafts, and then all of her drafts came public. So she's like, everyone's gonna find out. What do you think I should do? And then she goes to Ms. Marvel, and then Ms. Marvel gives her a pep talk. She goes, fine. Zoe goes, I'll just tell Nakia myself, and then she tells her herself. That was how she came out. It was like not early in Kamala Khan comic books. It was probably like the 6th volume. What's 6 times 6? 36. Probably 36 issues in to the run is where that comes out. Yeah, man. That's how that happens. I'm soft in Loki because I like Owen Wilson in it. Jet skis forever. Marvel Studios is no stranger to switching it up from the source materials, of course. And they did definitely mention a gay couple when Kamala was trying to use her locker. She said, "You two guys are my favorite couple." So they did, but not with the significant character. Well, not that Zoe is significant either. Anytime, side note, anytime I look for some sort of like social cause, some advancement for a marginalized group historically, and the show is using someone from that group, I'll ask, are they in the lead? Is the lead character of that group in that show from that background? And most of the time, it's no. So the Eternals movie had a white guy in Icarus, and Gemma Chan. What's her ethnicity? I think she's from China. Maybe I'm wrong. Uh, it's not a black movie. It's not an Indian movie because Kumail Nanjiani. I don't know where he's from. It's not an Indian movie. Kumail Nanjiani wasn't the lead. The only two who could claim that they are the lead are those two characters. It was, and they all have white. They both have white skin. I don't see that as the multicultural movie that maybe it was. Of course, it was advertised to be as this like a diverse thing. It's not. The leaders of those movies were not. The guys with the most scenes were not from anywhere else. They did not look different. I'll rest my case. That's how I view things when I think about diversity, and I do videos on that all the time. Nakia should have been cast by an actual hijabi, but I like Yasmin. That doesn't matter to me whether the cast, because it's all acting. We are being joined now by Marcus from the YouTube channel Back of the Bus. Thank you for saving me. It was a solo show for 26 minutes.
Man, get out of here.
People didn't answer my questions. Why didn't they want to answer what was the best song in Ms. Marvel?
I almost didn't get in, man. I was DMing you on Twitter, and I knew you were streaming, so I was like, oh, I don't think he's paying attention. So I did a quick one too. Got logged in on the computer, so we're all good.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for inviting me. Always.
Thanks for having me on your show. I was chatting Ms. Marvel with you like 2 weeks ago now.
Gotta have you back, man, because we're what 4 episodes in now, and it's been
it's been down here for me. There's too much like, hey, let's showcase what it feels like to be from this part of the world. Now let's showcase this and that. And there's so much times when the show stops to go, well, it's like they only have 6 episodes to do this. As if there's not going to be Kamala in another movie. There's not going to be a season 2. Like they're squeezing all of it in here for what though? Like, do a show. The best thing you can do with Kamala Khan, I know the best thing you can do for Kamala Khan is have the best show possible with the highest highs, with the best characters, with the coolest music, with the nicest graphics. And if you can do that, and you can make people who have racist ass parents love this character and ask, hey, can you buy me the new Kamala Khan t-shirt from Hot Topic? Can you, like, if you can make them like her, then you've done your job. They don't need to know how spicy biryani is and how you can get it in a bag.
I was wondering how you were feeling about all of that too, especially with the the revelation that the Inhumans are officially dead in whatever this universe, not 616, but whatever this designated universe is, and they're being Jinn. I was, I definitely went ugh. So I can only imagine, like, when you seen it, just being like, Jesus, like, why that of all things? Like, if you don't want to go with Inhumans, fine, but like, why that culture's like mythical boogeyman? Why,
Hey, it's good to have my words and terminology now canon in Marvel. I think that's what they were going for. I think I'm supposed to be like, oh my god, this is great. Now I can just bring up Jinns in natural conversations and everyone's gonna know what I'm talking about. Thanks, Marvel. I whatever. I'm gonna continue calling them the clandestines because in their world, that's what they're called. I think that's what was the woman's name? The Kamran's mom, Najma. So she was like, we're the clandestine is what we're called, but they also call us the unseen. They also call us Jinn. But you called yourself clandestine. I'm gonna go with what you identify as because we're all about that.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, Tony says, "What's up to you?"
What up, Tony Rob? What up?
Question number 1 I asked was, what was the best song that they used in Ms. Marvel? Did you like the Feel So Good song by Mace?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. They've had a pretty good soundtrack, man. And honestly, some of the songs I've like, I don't even know the artist, of course, because it's not, it's not typical music that I'd be listening to, but it's been a pretty good soundtrack so far. I will say I've not been upset with the, you know, the overlay of music with some of the cutaway scenes and the, you know, when they have the bubbles, the conversation bubbles, or the when they were describing the different factions in the church and stuff like that, those kind of scenes. I haven't minded it. It's just I want them to continue to push the envelope, and whenever they're doing that, it feels like they're wasting time. You know, so I can't say that I had a favorite song because I haven't been paying attention that much, but I will say it's been a fairly pleasant soundtrack so far.
The second question I was asking in 838, remember how all of the Illuminati members all assembled? So I'm like,
Yes.
okay, Captain Carter didn't teleport in there, and she's not fast the same way Maria Rambeau, Captain Marvel, just kind
Where
of.
she lives, somewhere in New York, where all the other heroes stay, because that's where everyone on the planet lives, in New York.
That's what I said. And then I
Yeah.
asked, have you streamed the Multiverse of Madness movie yet?
I have not. I was actually surprised to see it on Disney Plus like that quick. It's still in the theaters. Like, it's literally still playing in the theaters, but I guess the window has shortened now to make that a reality where that's going to be happening more and more. So I was actually surprised to see it on Disney Plus, but I have not streamed it yet.
I want to actually do a side topic on this because you don't seem to be in favor of the window shortening for the sake of like theaters and the sake of the streaming services.
I don't like. I understand that streaming is an eventuality, but if COVID and the many failed streaming services over the last even 5 years has taught us anything, it's that you can't force the eventuality. You have to let it happen naturally. And so people weren't ready to give up on traditional theaters like they thought that they were, right? And so it hasn't been as successful. They haven't been able to force people back to watching big time movies on their television screen. So in that, I feel like you shouldn't push so far as to hurt the theatrical experience. Maybe 45. I would like them to stay in the 45 to 60 as opposed to just a month, because a month feels quick. If it's a good movie, it's still going to be playing next month.
Okay. And by the way, this is Marcus from the back of the bus. You're watching Chillmonger because this is going to be clipped and put into a side video. I think that what we have here is a reason to make the streaming services more like better. And by shortening the window and saying, hey, listen, that movie that was there just in the movies is now on your streaming service, you are devaluing what a movie is. The movie is the spectacle of movie, like is a spectacle. I want to go see it in the big screen with the sound. I want to have to pay for it. I want to have to get dressed, find a partner, because you can't just go alone to a movie theater. You'd be a loser if you did. I do it all the time.
No, I'm about to say I've gone to many movies and watched by myself for sure.
Yeah, I'm over it. And like, you know, if I see someone at the movie theater who I know, and would I be embarrassed? Would I be like, oh man, I'm here all alone? No, I wouldn't.
No shame. No shame. No shame at all, man. I'll definitely be the guy up in the corner. Just hey, man, how long have you been here?
I was gonna see two.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the second showing. They're cleaning
sure.
up in there. I think that the movies are a big deal. There's a difference between a TV and movies, and it's not just the budget; it's the presentation of it. By making straight to streaming movies, like a lot of the Pixar movies during that COVID pandemic era, you're basically telling your audience this is TV quality stuff. Okay, there's really no difference between this and a theatrical release. So you devalued it. And what just happened to Lightyear? For a multitude of reasons, Lightyear is not really killing it the way Toy Story did, because the last Toy Story movie made $1 billion. So there's a lesson that was taught to the audience by this whole streaming service era. Usually when things go digital and a digital market is available, yes, that thing dies. Music and streaming is way taking over the CDs and taking over. No one's making a platinum album anymore. You'd have to change the definition of platinum to feature in YouTube.
But now they count the amount of streams. So instead of actual physical sales, because I think what's his name? The 666 guy on his tennis shoes, flamboyant Lil Nas X. I think his album Monterio just went platinum. But you're right, that's not something that happens typically in music, just the way that it was maybe early 2000s, our era, like hip hop, R&B, that kind of thing. So it's not what it used to be. But I think they've changed it from all right, physical album sales to counting the streams. Because now when you see guys, oh man, 100,000, 400,000 already units. You know what I mean? It's like it's a different metric, I think, that they're measuring by to get there nowadays.
You got to change the way that you measure. I'm only bringing it up just to say that in music, yeah, it is way more convenient for me to make a tap with my finger and now I'm listening to the song as opposed to in the car, with the CDs. Let me
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
find the
for
right
sure.
one. That's so difficult.
Yeah.
When it comes to movies, though, with the digital option being introduced as streaming, I don't want to see it on my phone. What it's offering, the digital version of what you're offering, isn't better than the old-fashioned ways. Comic books too. I'd rather have a physical comic book, owning it and having it in my hand, than reading digital comics. And
Facts.
that's the reason why comic book shops, while some of them are dying, comic book sales are much more higher with physical than digitals. The last I checked on comiccron.com, something like 10% of all sales for comics are from the digital side of it. Everything else is physical.
You
So
want
like,
a hot take? You want a hot
what?
take? I
Yeah.
still have not signed up for Marvel Unlimited. Everything that I've back read, everything that I've caught up on, post coming back to comics in like 2018, I bought. And I mean that it sounds ridiculous, and
It is ridiculous. You should definitely take advantage of that service for
I go
1
to the
month.
shop. It's keeping me motivated to actually read the stuff. I feel like the moment I switch over and start paying that $5.99 for Marvel Unlimited, it's gonna be great for a week, right? I'm gonna be like, damn, okay, yeah. All right. Priest Panther, Hickman's Avenger, or Hickman's Fantastic Four. All right, cool. And then eventually I'm gonna be like, yeah, well, this feels like the hours that I'm spending on my phone watching YouTube and also the hours in front of my television playing the game. It doesn't feel like the break from all of this that comic books usually is to feed my brain. Eventually, I'm going to put this thing down, and I'm not going to want to, I don't feel like I'm going to be as invested to read as much. I don't know. Maybe that's just my weird quirk about
It's true,
comic
because
books.
you're just going to be on those pages not appreciating the art because
Yeah.
the next thing is just a click away. Digital is more convenient, but physical means you actually own it. Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And you can resell it too. And some Marvel comics will actually have a little code that says if you use this code, you can own it
get the
digitally
digital
too.
copy.
Mhm.
That's good enough for me, and eventually I'll sign up for Marvel Unlimited. It's too much stuff to go over, too much stuff to learn, too much stuff to read for me to buy it all. I'm not rich, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think by and large, I like going to my LCS. You know what I mean? I like picking up my books, chatting with the owner a little bit, that kind of thing. That's what made me like comics in the first place, and I'm fortunate enough in Columbus that we have 4. I think one of them is even Black owned. So we actually have comic book stores in the city that are thriving isk, as the industry standard would go. So pretty fortunate. But yeah, that's
Kind of laughable. Next time you're on Google, just for sake of it, comic book shops, and then search the area of Toronto. We got way more than 4, bro. We got
really,
we got a lot. We might have like
Really?
20. We might have 20.
Damn.
I haven't visited them all.
Shit.
Because like our population is almost 3 million. What's your guys' like 700,000?
Oh no. We ballooned Columbus, a couple million at least. A couple of million at least. They're saying in the next 10 to 15 years, we're gonna have 4 to 5 million people here.
I don't believe that one. Hold on. Columbus population on Google. You guys have 889,000.
Get out of here.
Okay, maybe the area, the greater
Columbus maybe
area.
they're counting Columbus proper, but I'm saying like the central Ohio area. I mean, it's pretty big. 800,000. They got to be counting just Columbus proper alone.
I don't fight Google. Google tells me information. I use that information.
Okay.
Mads Mama Bear says, I've read a lot of novels digitally, but important books I want to physically hold. That's true too. If it's worth knowing, like even I could read it digitally and I'll be like, no, I need to have this. So I'll go to the store, get the House of M story because it's meaningful. And I can't wait to hear no more mutants in the MCU. All right, Greater Columbus area is 1 million plus. Thank you.
Thank you, back of the bus. Appreciate it. Keep me on code, on structure.
May I ask, who is that? That's Josh, right?
That's Josh. Yeah, that's Josh.
Is there anyone else on your team?
Nah, it's just us, man. Okay. Anytime it's one of us talking, so
So long as you've been to the Silver Snail. You talking about the Silver Snail at Young and Dundas, or are you talking about the Silver Snail that moved to Queen Street? Which one? Because I've been to both now. Hmm. She's local. She knows. Question number 3 was what? Did you watch Doctor Strange? Or was I? Oh, are the Revengers ever going to form?
Look, here's my thing. We don't have a proper Avengers team in the MCU right now. How do we have so many leaks and scoops about all of these offshoot Avengers teams, and we don't have a proper Avengers team to go into the next phase yet? Thunderbolts, Young Avengers. What's the mystical ones? Blade and Ghost Rider and
Midnight Suns?
Midnight Suns. Yeah, I've heard all of these offshoots. Are we ever going to reestablish the proper Avengers team and move forward with that? That way that they're able to bring the younger guys along so that makes sense. Because at some point, we're just going to have a lot of parity where guys aren't necessarily going to be showing up in each other's movies, but all of these newly formed super teams are going to be forming at the same time. And I feel like Marvel doesn't they don't give us that much at once. They don't vomit content like that. They're very close to the vest. They take their time with individual characters to their detriment, in my opinion, in some cases. But they just don't. It's been a long time since they just went, oh, here's a whole new universe of people, or here's a whole new team up within a few movies. It's been a while since we've got that type of reveal. So
yeah, they're not heading in that direction.
I mean, we could be. I think that some of this stuff is going to end up being like Captain America Serpent Society. You remember that was going to be a direction they were going to take Chris Evans, Captain America, and then it ended up getting scrapped. Just like Inhumans end up getting scrapped. Just like a lot of stuff that we thought in phases past was going to end up coming to fruition. I don't think a lot of it's going to actually make it to production, because that's how it works. We get all excited about potential. Oh man, we might get this. We might get that. We may get that Wolverine series on Disney Plus, which I'm afraid of if it ever happens. I am very scared.
No, but look, Wolverine's superpower is that he heals. So when you think about the effects and budget that'll go into a show, you can just be creative and just dance around the superness of what that power is.
Yeah,
he doesn't fly.
And then also just the visceral nature of that character. I swear to God, they pumped my head up so much about what Moon Knight was going to be in terms of the darker tone or taking, breaking the mold of Marvel. I swear to God, the next time they say that about a project, I'm not watching it off of GP because they said it about the project. Swear. But I'm worried because that character needs to be shown in an animalistic light. Hugh Jackman's best moments as Wolverine are him raging out like an animal. And I love Hugh Jackman. Love Hugh. I love him. Shout out to Kaizako Slevin for this point as well. Give me a smaller statured guy to play Wolverine. Please, for the love of God, if he's 6 anything, you've gone too far.
Yeah.
You've gone too far. Not even my height, like not even barely 6 feet. Give me 5'8", 5'9", somewhere in there.
How many of those exist? How many actors who are short men actually have?
There's plenty of them, because think about how many times they get cast. So there's a litter of them out there waiting for you to call them for this role. How many times does a short guy not get cast to be the lead actor in a role like this? So they're waiting. Do your job. Find a good actor. Make it work visually. It'll be one of the characters that you do not have to heavily CGI or do a whole lot of graphic work with. He can just be a hairy individual, and let's get to it. Let's do it right. You have your chance.
Yeah. That Kevin Feige quote didn't age well. It wasn't very dark. It wasn't funny. We can say that.
Wolverine is a short king. Get out of here.
Smaller stature and make him that expert martial artist he is in the comics. That's not expensive. That's not CGI.
It's not at all. Small details. How about we take a little bit off the CGI budget, because we don't want it anyways, and then hire an actual martial artist, so I can see some of these guys who are supposed to be expert hand-to-hand combat fighters. T'Challa, Mark Spector. I guess they tried their best with Clint and Natasha. They had some pretty good scenes.
Yeah, I'll give Clint it.
But that's the extent. If we're talking hand to hand, Clint and Natasha are the cream of the crop in the Marvel MCU, and that's a disgrace. That is a disgrace. Captain America, but that's too obvious. It's too obvious. Especially when you find out that Captain America had troubles with both Wolverine and T'Challa at different point in times in his history as well. But to see him get the deference with the hand-to-hands and not, the rest of the characters that could possibly be there. Wolverine is another potential swing at, hey, you don't need to CGI this fight. Train him to fight. Show him this $200 million budget. Some of it should go towards making the actor the character that they're portraying instead of trying to make the character fit the actor.
RDJ spent most of the movies on boxes and wearing lifts. It is easier to make someone more taller in a movie.
Sure.
I think when it comes to making someone shorter, you would have to ask them to spread their. Don't laugh at this.
like
yeah. And then you could see them and standing next to everyone, and they're shorter than everyone. Except when it comes to like running, moving, and maneuvering, then you can't just be that way with your legs the whole movie long. Yeah. So it's a little bit trickier. That's why you got to cast correctly.
And I mean, some of these characters is just not going to be possible. Like, how much can you really do with the guy who's got an armored suit from head to toe? It's not much you're going to be able to do in terms of real life movements and just having a actual tangible figure there. But that is what makes characters like Moon Knight or Wolverine, Natasha, those kind of characters so much more important. Daredevil, when he eventually gets into the MCU, your favorite Iron Fist, that guy. If they ever make their way back, that it's going to be important that they are able to do that because they haven't really been forced to yet in a big way, at least. Not to I guess Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that's another one. I don't remember the Phase 4 the Phase 4 movies the way I should, man. I had a lot of time to sit on the old movies, and then Phase 4 just comes in. I'm not really. Maybe that's a consequence of hitting us with film after film, 4 films a year, four series a year, maybe.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Josh Brolin would have been a good older Wolverine, but he can't really do that now. You're right, but you're thinking logically. Gemma Chan was in Captain Marvel, and then she was in Eternals as like non-CGI. So non-painted. So just yes or no. If the only way that Ant-Man could kill the enemy was to anus enter, would he do it?
Scott Lang or Hank Pym? Hank Pym, hell no. Scott Lang, yeah. Yes.
If you were to cast Howard Stern
today,
he'd be a cameo.
Howard Stern.
And I would have him as Howard Stern in my movie, the same way Bill Maher is talking about the most recent Iron Man ongoings. I would have Howard Stern just like being himself in the movies.
Okay. Yeah, fine. That's well enough. I don't know if I want him interviewing Dr. Doom. And that's the there seems to be the leak, the popular thing. I don't want any parts of that. If you got to put Howard Stern in an MCU movie, sure. I mean, it's literally starlet land. So all of the Hollywood starlets make their eventual stop somewhere in an MCU film eventually, right? That's just the way it works now in Hollywood. So if you got to put Howard Stern in that, if he has to get his MCU appearance, cool. I want them to stop bringing their characters down to earth. It's not necessary. Fantasy is built to be larger than life. It's built for us to escape, for us to view something that is not necessarily tangible to us now here in our reality. It is not necessary for you to humanize every single character that we see in the MCU to the point that they're not serious. Putting Victor Von Doom in front of Howard Stern feels a little unserious. Now, there are ways you can do it. I mean, obviously, Howard Stern has had serious conversations before. So, I mean, it's not too far-fetched. I don't want it to turn into a damn comedy skit with Dr. Doom, one of the deadliest characters in Marvel history.
Well, then he'd have to kill Howard Stern.
If that's where you going with it, I'm here. But
Mhm.
I just don't want, goofy stuff anymore. I don't know.
Then I asked, why or why not will Blade have hard light?
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you. There, that's it. And then the next one was, why or why not? Did Monica Rambeau? Why didn't she have hard light? Why? It's because they respect the characters. They grew up on the characters. They understand what the characters are, and they're going to match the superpowers with the characters. No matter what explanation that they may create, foster up to give us Kamala Khan with hard light superpowers. No, she's a polymorph. She can adjust her body to whatever settings she wants it to, because that's what. And she heals. Okay, she doesn't get scraped knees. She
This
heals.
is weird between us, right? Because I get it. I get it. I understand. But I feel like even still, because I have a problem with this, but I feel like we don't have the same problem. I do not like that her powers are light based. I feel like it is not necessarily what it is, right? Like, yes, she's stretched, but she stretched a light construct. She stretched the hard light. Like, it's not her. Plus, it's dwarfing her because being a polymorph, as you said, means that you can not only stretch, but I can grow or shrink, right? If we're putting it all into the light from the bangle, where does that play a role? What is that? Why? How does that help her shrink? Or does it even happen now because that's not consistent with heart light powers? So I get it. I hate that they did that to her and changed up her powers. But it's like I still don't even like how they're showing it to us because it's not consistent.
You answered number 9. Is it a bangle? Is it a bracelet?
Bangle.
You think Kamala will meet Aisha? So this is her great grandmother who was alive at that time with a bangle we saw in the flashback. You think she'll meet her?
Yes, I mean everything seems as if they're pointing in that direction.
Mhm.
If I had to call it right now, I'd say yes.
Will Loki or Loki season 1 was blank? And my answer is I would say it's slow.
It was meh.
Oh,
Lot of hype, good high points. I would say it's the most connective to the greater MCU arc in terms of carrying us on to the next phase. That and maybe WandaVision.
okay.
There were too many head scratcher episodes for it to only be a 6-part series for me to give it above average. I say it was mid. It was okay. It was 50. It was all right.
Now the next time Pizza Papa isn't paid, blank. Because look, so America Chavez stole that little pizza ball and she got away. And then later on, when they walked by, you stole my food. So he didn't even notice it right away. He had to wait for it to come back. And oh yeah, there she is. She stole my food. Now the next time this guy isn't paid for a pizza pop, I think, especially after the spell that Doctor Strange put him on, where he kept slapping himself,
Slapping his son.
I think he's like, hey, okay, someone stole from me. Last time someone stole from me, it didn't end up well for myself. I think these desperate people just need to be left alone. I'm gonna let them. He's just not gonna. He's not gonna bother you. He's gonna let you go. He might offer you some ketchup or whatever else he's got there in his booth. Nah, he just leaves it alone. Next time Pizza Papa isn't paid.
Isn't that the Evil Dead dude?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's going to lead a zombie horde into wherever America Chavez is at. That's what he's doing. Next time you get some pizza from me and you don't pay for it, I'm leading the zombie horde into whatever hall you're training in. Why wasn't Ned there? In Multiverse of Madness, why wasn't Ned there training in that same hall with America Chavez at the end of Multiverse of Madness?
You're right. Maybe because he's one of the Sony characters and that's expensive to do.
Oh yeah. You're right. Plus, I don't even think he remembers that he can do that, right? Because they
That's part of it. Yeah, maybe.
all that out.
There's a lot that will have to go away with like the files.
Because I don't think he knew anything about that until that skirmish with the portals opening up and stuff. So he probably lost all of that.
Ashy slashy pizza papa. You got us to say it. Question 13 was whether or not Kamala Khan can go to prom. I think her parents are not with that. A party? How are you going to dress like Captain Marvel?
Kamala.
No, not
You are
happening.
not serious. Where's Bruno? Is this for internet?
Yeah.
She's gonna go. Is she allowed to? Probably not. Probably not. But she'll go. She'll find.
This character was written after the editor of the comic books, who was like, "Hey, we need one character who looks like me," and that woman would say stuff like, "I went to prom, but I wasn't allowed to wear a prom dress proper, so I was like dressed like this," and then she'd show her class photos, and it'll be like, so. I would say that since this character of Kamala Khan is literally about the editor who grew up in New Jersey, I would
Mhm.
say that she she would not be allowed to go to prom just based on that.
Yeah, yeah. It seems consistent. A lot of writers write like that, and it could be good when it's not overpowering to the plot. When you write your own experiences, we've discussed this a couple times on the pod. It's like I get that those experiences are what lets you to write, right? That the things that you go through in life are what leads you to find different outlets and ways of expressing yourself or relieving stress, and that's how you cultivate hobbies and careers and so on and so on. So I understand the logic of it, but I feel like what ends up happening is you start tying the story to your experiences, the way you think, your worldview, your perspective, your opinion, and then now the story is handicapped by your experiences.
Totally.
And so then it takes away from the excitement of what other people are expecting to get or hoping to get, because now, unless I am you and think exactly like you and have lived like you, I can't relate, because this is your story that you're telling, not Kamala's or not T'Challa's. This is your story.
Mm-hmm. 14th question of 33 Burning MCU Questions. Was the chase scene better than Book of Boba Fett? Because in the most recent episode of Kamala Khan's show, it was like a slow speed chase. She was barely knowing how to drive, so that added to it. So at least we can forgive any mistakes and crashing into stuff. The Book of Boba Fett slow chase scene was bad. This was better. That was just terrible. It was colorful and it was like very weird, and it was like,
Is
bro,
that
this
the
is
one where
Boba
they
Fett.
kind of like popped off the bikes in the 3-part shot thing and Boba
Uh-huh.
Fett?
Yeah,
Okay,
in the
yeah,
third
that was a little.
episode.
It was corny. That one was corny. I'll admit that I am not allowed to watch most of the MCU shows without my wife, so we have not fully caught up on episode 4 yet, just yet. So
Ooh.
I didn't see that, so a little bit of a spoiler, but we're good. I understand. I'm on the show. It's cool. We're here.
What
Um,
is the name of that red daggered guy who died? Oh, has Odin? Don't worry about that. That's got nothing to do with anything.
okay.
Has Odin ever rocked a fade? This one's for K Dot, because did you know about the most recent Miles Morales What If comic, whereby
You about to
Odin's
get me
beard?
going, man. You about to get me going. Oh my god.
I mean, Odin is an old being who's lived for years. He's had his hair cut multiple, but the thing is, the fade is something that was recently introduced as far as like humans and their ability with clippers. I think we have haircut precedents here in the Thor universe, because in Ragnarok it was Stan Lee's cameo that actually cut Thor's hair, and it was like that big thing. So it took a whole lot of gizmos to get an actual Asgardian's haircut, because you would have to think that they're just as strong
Mm-hmm.
proportionately, for their muscles to what a human is. I
Cut
would
their
say
hair.
that, okay, listen, Odin hasn't rocked the fade. He's definitely had his hair cut. Maybe he did a mohawk, because that's maybe a little simple to get,
Yeah,
but the fade, no.
I feel like if he were to have rocked the fade, it would be like now. It would be like, and we're talking actual Odin, right? Not hip hop Odin from Homeboys, Miles
the
Morales one shot
the movie Odin, yeah,
movie Odin.
who
Okay, yeah.
dies in Ragnarok in year 2017.
If he ever had a fade, it would be a new and improved version of Odin. Like, you know how they did Vision for WandaVision, Division. That's how it would have to
Sean,
happen. Vision, yeah, there you go. Like that's how it would have to happen. Like, somebody would have to Barack Obama meme Anthony Hopkins into a fade, and then maybe, but but not up until this point. Definitely not.
Asgard is his hood.
Stop!
Yo,
Stop! Stop! Stop it by Odin's Fade. Stop it.
And then the graffiti also, and there was a lot that happened there. I
Are
don't
there
know how.
shoes on the power line, fam?
I
Are
didn't read the
you
comic. That happened too.
hold on? This is in Asgard. You got shoes in Asgard is to Norse mythology is like heaven, right? So are you telling me in Black Heaven we got shoes on the electrical lines, fam? That's but see, and then what's funny is that you look at that and then everybody laughs. It's funny, but it's also extremely racist.
It's funny.
Right.
I choose to laugh at the humor of it.
It's funny, but then if I were to say that this writer is being anti-black or at very least antagonistic towards black people, well, why are you taking it that far? What does that have to do with anything? What get your politics out of my comics? You know, I'm like, why is it that everyone knows it's funny? Why is it funny? Like, what is it funny for? What is it funny because it's true? Or is it funny because this writer is clearly writing in a way that likens black people to their most visceral attributes, if it's even an attribute at all? Stereotypes.
I think it's funny. I think racism itself is pretty funny. Like the ridiculousness of you would dislike something about this group of people, or even the stereotypical things. And I'm not speaking for anyone else but myself, but I like racist humor. It does it for me, and I think it's funny. Of course, it's evil and definitely isn't something that we need the wrong crowd to be like. But I can look at it, laugh at it, understanding exactly why it's wrong and how this message in the wrong hands can create, what do you call it, but like a continuing and a domino effect. And I get that, but man, racism is funny as hell. So when I saw that, I couldn't help but not
But here's
laugh.
the thing though, like comedy is in a different umbrella to me in terms of media, because comedy you are almost trying to offend to the point of humor. What this guy did, he's being serious. Like he's trying to write Black Thor, and this is what he came up with. Like he's dead ass. This is not a joke. He didn't write this to be funny.
Why did Bendis made Black Spider-Man, and that wasn't distasteful or insensitive?
He also did
it can be done,
right? He did Riri Williams, right?
He did her one? Too, yeah.
Yeah. Like, and it's not offensive. It is just a story about a black person who happens to be a superhero. Not I can't even remember all the damn lines that came out of that book, man. It was just so much. It was so bad.
I think he said Hammer Time. I think that Hammer Time was in there. Yeah.
Kids today do not know anything about MC Hammer. It's not even culturally relevant.
Yeah, it was the 90s rap video.
He as well had a goddamn watermelon on the end of a broomstick as Mjolnir instead of the hammer.
You want to hear something? What about what didn't make it past the editors? What if the editors did edit? What if? I want to hope that editors were just like, oh, whatever, it's the Miles Morales book. We don't got to worry about
Nobody's going to pay attention to it, maybe.
Pretend, just put your name on it, sign off on it as if you edited the book, but you're too busy looking at the other books that you're going to edit. So I think that's what happened. Whoever the editor is shouldn't be there anymore.
I kind of feel strongly about this. I feel like if you have a level of representation that you're looking for in any form of media, be it, literature or film or music, whatever it be, and you see something that does not sit with you, does not sit right with you, does not feel like it represents you, talk about it. Say something about it. Don't let people convince you that you are pushing a narrative or that you are somehow trying to tear down the entire industry by saying something, because it seems to be the only time that people get it, that people even hear it. Because you just made a good point. How did that book make it through editorial? By Odin's Fade. How? How? It doesn't make it. A black person should not have to have read that book and say, this isn't the best. I don't think we should do this.
Oh, you just introduced something else to me. That's, how me and you are both mad that the Black Panther writer right now is John Ridley, as opposed to an actual comic book top tier writer. Mm-hmm. And I would take a white top tier writer to give me Al Ewing, give me Jason Aaron. They both have history with the character. But if you were to have just a character who is from that background, you probably wouldn't get What If Miles Morales was Thor. You wouldn't get that whack story where it was being misrepresentative of what it is to be from Brooklyn.
I think John Ridley is the best example on why that is a 50-50 shot at best. It at this point, to me, it's more important to find a writer who cares about the character.
You can't measure
True.
care. Hey, do you care about the character? Why,
No,
yes, I do. Oh, you're qualified.
you can, and I don't think that anybody who sat down and watched or read through John Ridley's synopsis of the first story arc for Black Panther in his new run and said, "Oh, he's fond of the character T'Challa. He's fond of this story and the way that it's been told up to this point." Because you cannot sit up here for the last 60 years, build this character up as something, and expect his fans to follow blindly behind the complete antithesis of what you just built up. It's one thing to have a guy like Professor X, right? Professor X for the last 7 or 8 years has been written as a complete ass, right? Far from his 90s X-Men animated series version. But he's still allowed to keep his core principles. He's still the smartest man in the room, still the most powerful telepath, still one of the most powerful mutants. They've never stripped any of his core principles away from him so much that he's unrecognizable by his hardcore fans. When you get what you've gotten from T'Challa, that is what they are attempting to do. They're stripping what is core to his character. And I feel like you should be able, as an editor or even hiring the next writer, you should be able to weed that out. That should be very clear, because if a guy walks into your office and says, "Hey, people are too in love with that guy. They think he's perfect. I want to write a story that's going to tear him down."
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. Come on.
We're being joined by Sergio from the YouTube channel, The House of Nerds Show. Hello there.
What's going on, my man? Chill, how you doing, buddy? Marcus, what's going on?
I'm fantastic. I'm exquisite. We were asking 33 questions. We stopped at the... Did you read the What If Miles Morales comic?
The Thor, that crazy Thor one?
Yeah.
I've heard, I read the Discord, I saw some of the Discord, but there ain't no way I'm going to be touching that with a tempo phone, man.
No? I want to buy it just for the historical significance. Like, this thing caused the conversation. If there's some extras at the local comic shop, then I'm going to check it out.
Toilet paper is cheaper at the dollar store, bro.
Man. Yeah.
Toilet paper cheaper at the dollar.
Is that what you said? Toilet paper is cheaper at the dollar store?
Yes.
Man. So what's going on? You guys stopped at 33 questions?
No, we kind of sidetracked. But the question
we got
was,
stuck at 16.
Has Odin ever rocked a fade? Now, the movie version, okay? Not the stupid version. In the movies, you think Odin was ever like, "Hey, hit me with the fade." Ever?
Nah. I gotta say nah, bro. Man.
Question 17 of 33 Burning MCU Questions. I'm asking, does Zoe have more followers on TikTok or Instagram? All we know from Ms. Marvel is that she's got 80,000 followers and she posted a video about popcorn. That's all we heard in the show about her. But like, which social media platform? It definitely wasn't Twitter. The kids are not on Twitter.
It's got to be TikTok.
It's
got to be. It's TikTok. She's like 14. Everything about her life is fleeting, quick, fast. Is TikTok. She doesn't have time for IG. She probably checks her IG a couple times a week. She's on TikTok every waking moment of her life.
Yeah, I got a co-sign. I feel like the kids, they're all doing TikTok these days, man. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what the kids are on. So
she's definitely hitting all the viral dances, making people crash like insurance commercials for sure.
You got a problem with that, Josh?
Hey, happy Canada Day to belated to my fellow Canucks. Chill, you know.
Yes, sir.
I had to, baby. You know.
Have you ever been to the Silver Snail?
Oh man, I used to go back to the Snail back when they were in Queen, like their first Queen location, like 30 years ago, man. Yeah.
It came up earlier. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, I love
take a trip to Toronto, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the Silver Snail, Jaded Fanboy?
Oh God, yeah. That was one of the biggest comic book shops at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are million, like Mile High Comics came in eventually, and other ones. But at the time, Silver Snail was like the biggest one.
It still is. And I talked to the comic shop owner. So he went from like the center of town, just so everyone knows, the center of town, Yonge and Dundas Square. That's it. There's a movie theater. There's a lot there. Like Beyonce had like a free concert there a few
It was
years
a
back.
dope spot to be honest. The location was wild.
Location. However, they didn't like have a window with like Spider-Man on the, to show the sidewalk people. It was, you had to go up a couple of stairs and then you'd get there. The difference is the one now on Queen Street, which is still downtown. But the one there has like a walk-in customer is more likely to occur because of where they moved to. So they went from Queen Street then to Yonge and Dundas. Now they're back on Queen Street.
Yeah.
And that's the local news here from Chillmonger. 33 burning questions.
Actually, the funny thing is, where Silver Snail used to be, across the street used to be a very popular bookstore, science bookstore. And the thing about the bookstore is, comic book fans would go, like comic book artists would be at the Silver Snail for autographs. Famous authors would go to the bookstore across the street, because that's where I got a lot of my autographs from the Star Trek.
On the big jacket that you got with the Silver Surfer. Yeah.
A lot of the authors.
Okay.
Especially like the.
I'm glad I asked you this question. I can actually put a place to where you got the autograph.
Guy's autograph there and stuff like that, because that was a very major, big science fiction bookstore, and that's all.
You're talking about the world's biggest bookstore, like literally just.
No, not the world's biggest bookstore. This is when Silver Snail.
We're getting a little bit too local right now.
Oh yeah. Everybody.
Anyway, forget it. I'm sorry.
Marcus, does Bucky text Sam now? Okay, it used to be one-sided. The psychiatrist was like, "Hey, let me see that phone. It seems like there's this guy texting you. You never text him back." But now, does he text Sam?
Only to tell him to tell Sarah to hit him back.
Ooh. I see. I don't think he's doing that. I don't know.
Hey, Sam. I haven't heard back from Sarah. She busy? hey, Sam. I'm picking up Sarah later. Are you gonna be there? Hey, Sam. Me, Sarah, and the boys are going out for burgers. You want to come? That kind of thing.
He's only doing that to troll him, though.
I don't think Bucky's a troll. He doesn't have a troll bone in his body.
You don't think so? Sam?
Oh, not that much. Not by that much. Like, he might have fun with him here and there. Send it. Like, I think right now Bucky is replying to Sam's text. I'll give him that. But there wasn't that much character development where all of a sudden he is this like enough to joke around with Sam. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know.
Only with Sarah, though. That's the thing.
I was about to say, it's gotta. He knows once he gets a confirmation from Sarah that it's on, he has a green light to mess with Sam whenever he wants to, like whenever he has a green light. So once he gets once he knows that it's reciprocated, that she likes him too. Oh man, I would never stop messing with Sam.
Oh no.
Yeah, I feel like Bucky's. He's chopping it up with Sam. He's hitting him up. For sure.
He's definitely asking about Sarah, says Josh. Bucky just hitting those quick reply texts. Bucky's the type to. Can you like a text? You can now, right? You can like double tap it. Yeah. I think Bucky he'll do that. Like, the conversation closer, you don't really want to say, okay, thanks. You'll just acknowledge that I've seen it. One of those.
Yeah.
And on a side note, I'm just going to get on a soapbox when it comes to acknowledging text and stuff. If you have the option in your direct messages to actually show that you've read the message, but you choose not to do that, that's weak. You want to see someone's message, but don't want them to know that you saw their message, that's weak. That's just me on my soapbox. Back to the crew. Question number 8.
Everyone have their read receipts.
Why do I have a feeling that's directed mostly to this the females that he's texted?
It's not. It's got nothing to do with the females that I've texted.
Text back to you. Text him back. Don't leave him on red.
Yeah, leave them on unread. Why are all these women leaving me on unread? I just
feel like there's a source of information that seeing your text, I can take it. I know you have somewhere to be, whether you're male or female. Again, this is not about females, but like you let me know that you read it, then I know, okay, so and so read it. They'll get back to me when they want to get back to me, and if they don't get back to me, I'm gonna have to deal with that. It's fine. I'm okay. You know what else? It's back on my soapbox. You know what else I don't want? If I'm on doing something, my phone rings and I see who it is, and I'm busy, right? Or I'm on my phone and I'm watching a YouTube video, my phone rings. I'm gonna decline the call. I'm not going to let it ring 5 times so they think I'm in the shower and I couldn't get to them, because that would be rude. You know what's rude? Taking people's time. So I hit decline just to let you know, I know you called me. I actively declined the phone call so you could go away. And that way, this way now, you know that I know, and that calling me a second time is useless. It's futile. Or that's my soapbox again. Question number 19 of 33 burning MCU questions here is, what is the name of those 10 rings? Do they have names like individually? And are the names like human names? There's Darla. Is there a Cheyenne? Is there a Bill?
No, it's Ring of Fire, Ring of Lightning, ring. It's basically the rings of the power of the rings.
But they don't have individual powers in the MCU. They're all
in the MCU, the bands. Oh,
yeah, the bands, the sort of, we're all together, but not, because Shang-Chi could collect 5 of them when he was fighting his dad, but they all did the same thing, except the light changed when he had the powers.
I don't think they named them in the movie, did they?
No, I don't think they did, but should they?
No, because they're a set.
You got names in the comics?
Does each
The rings, each of the rings, basically they have a name for each of the powers of that the ring provides.
Did they
sort of like
establish that
Reality
in the
Stone,
movie,
sort of.
Yeah.
Is that okay. So then, yeah, they should have. It should. They probably
Well,
I'll
no.
leave that for the sequel.
Well, no, because in the MCU, the bands don't each have a specific power. Like if you put on
that's
one
what it was
band,
asking.
if you put on one band, you don't just get to shoot fire, and you don't just if you put on one band, you don't just get to use telekinetic powers. It's kind of just like a lazy. Well, it's the MCU. It's just a lazy way of establishing the powers of the 10 rings.
It's like a diet Infinity Stones.
Yeah, like Diet Infinity Stones.
Like a Street
Or a
says.
poor man's Infinity Stones, yeah.
Infinity Stones light.
Infinity Stones, like.
We got Rhea and
No. Like the new Coke version of the Infinity Rings, the Infinity Stones.
Some guys get weird if you don't respond fast enough. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what, Joe? 100%. That's the move. I do the same thing. If I'm busy, if I'm occupied, direct to voicemail. I hit that decline, and then that way they know. Like, hey.
Yes, right. Everybody subscribe to Sergio's
you know?
channel, The House of Nerd Show. I wish it said that, but that's his username there. Insert name comics. Go check out that man who knows stuff.
Because women don't get weird if you don't respond fast enough. Either. Oh yeah, it's not like women. Oh yeah, women never. Women. I texted you 45 minutes ago. Why didn't you answer? Please.
Yeah, man. So the name of the 10 rings are we got to give them a name, right? What's the Chinese Mandarin way to say the number 10? Let's call it that. And then we got everyone saying hello to each other. What's up? I just integrate them with Google Assistant. You need to not integrate anything with Google because, you got to love your privacy. All of a sudden, you'll see an advertisement for the thing you were talking about with someone which you don't want to be advertised. Like, don't do that. Before I hit the canyon, it was only chill. And the first guy who made it. Before I hit the canyon? What is the canyon?
Is that code for cracking the seal for hitting the washroom?
Oh,
Maybe?
one of those.
Yeah. I'm guessing. I don't know.
Their names are Happy, Sleepy, Dopey, Sneezy, Bashful. There we go. That's the answer. I just use a different word for people like that. Begins with a B and is a female dog. Beethoven, like the movie. What's up, Ashley? Hi.
Sure.
Question number 19 was that. 20 is new rules, true or false only. Okay. True or false, Marcus, from the Back of the Bus podcast. Thor: Love and Thunder is a good name.
True.
Jaded fanboy. Thor: Love and Thunder is a good name.
I won't know until I see the movie.
You can only say. Oh, that's true. Okay, that's a good one. I was gonna say you can only say true or false.
That's why I was trying.
That was
Okay.
I mean, on its own.
on its own, because a
yes,
movie,
I think it's a good name.
you never know what happens in the movie until you see the movie, of course. So just on advertising, so are they marketing a good name, Thor: Love and Thunder? True or false?
Oh, I think it's a good name. I think true. Yeah, I
True.
think it's a good name.
Sergio, true or false?
Yeah, that's a true. That's a true.
Number 21. Stark Industries head of security is a real job.
Well, true, because yes.
Okay.
Because that's
It's just true or false. It's just true or false.
It's true. It's
Sergio.
That's true. That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Marcus.
I'm gonna say false for the simple fact. All right, okay. Pre Tony's death, false. Post Tony's death, probably true. Because who?
I'm just gonna go with false. It's not
really because
head of security at Stark Industries. He's Iron Man. You know.
Didn't Happy have that title at one point?
Right. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Happy working ever really?
Protecting? Yeah, that's false.
Well, he was a chauffeur for a while, right? And then he went from chauffeur to head of security. That's why he took the job so seriously, because he tried to prove him. He kept wanting to prove himself.
Head of security, head guys in the head.
Make sure everybody's got a badge. Make sure everybody's got a badge.
22. True or false, Marcus? It is acceptable to change a hero's superpower when you're adapting their comic.
False.
Jaded
It's
fanboy.
acceptable. Yeah.
We're
false.
never gonna let this go.
Is this acceptable?
He is never.
It is not
true.
acceptable.
True.
That's false.
I'll piss you
False.
You're an idiot.
just to piss you off. True.
Sergio.
That's false, man. Yeah. The powers, that's the character. It's part of the character, man. You know, it's core. It's core to the character, I think.
That's right. Now, Spider-Man will get his 5th film before Thor. So if you're not paying attention, Spidey already had 3. The 4th Thor movie is coming out now. So true or false? Spider-Man will have his 5th movie before Thor. Jaded?
I would have to say true, because there's no guarantee that, because Chris Hemsworth even said
you don't have to explain
his last movie. So yeah, true.
Okay. Marcus, true or false?
I'm gonna go with true, just because we seem to get Spider-Man faster than we get Thor. So
Sergio?
I'm saying false because I thought I read somewhere that he signed like another 3 or 4 or 5 picture deal, Hemsworth, right? So this is only what now his first one, and then he's probably gonna appear in Guardians, right? So I feel like for sure he's gonna get a next one soon.
And I'm gonna join the true bandwagon as well.
Yeah.
That was true or false here on 33 Burning MCU Questions. Chilling here with Back of the Bus with the Jaded Fanboy and the House of Nerd Show.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna clip that, by the way. I probably should have said before we started that true or false thing. That's why I kept saying give short answers, because I want it all be in like a little 4-minute video.
Okay.
And
I like that.
Yeah, right. Like you make the most out of these Saturday streams. Not everyone's gonna be here, but there's 12. Huh?
I'm just saying we can't just do true or false. We have to talk about it. We just can't.
Maybe I need to rethink the one. Oh shoot! So there's a whole lot of people saying hello here in the live chat. He said, for the nerdy people who need you to answer now.
Oh, for the needy people.
I typically just lurk. I lurk everywhere. Yeah, you do, Trinity. But that's good. Those are the best guys, like the YouTubers who actually watch YouTube, and you can tell when you hear them talk. Honestly, not a fan of the name. Sounds like a romance novel that my grandmother would read. It does, but it's based off of Thor.
Romance, right? Yeah.
Thor: Blood and Thunder was a comic book title, so then they just swapped it up.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, Blood and Thunder was a good miniseries. It was a good little.
That's a much better name.
It is.
That is a much better name.
I don't know. I think Love and Thunder, when you think, you'd have to know that it's based off of Blood and Thunder. Then you go, Love and Thunder. Yeah. Sounds better.
Yeah, this guy, instead of Better Ray Bill and the other Thors, it has Jane Foster. So Love and Thunder. I got it.
Not enough people are talking about Ms. Marvel.
Oh, I can talk about her, but it won't be nice.
You can't limit Jaded to one-word answers. It's blasphemy. Question number 24 of 33 is: does snapping your fingers with an infinity gauntlet just automatically makes it like you can't even just you're listening to a song? Is that what happened? Half the people die, half the people die. What's going on here? I would say no. I think the intention matters too. The intention.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think like
Oh, go ahead, Jada.
Look, if you are an alien and you don't have fingers and you want to put on that infinity gauntlet, or maybe it's an infinity bangle. Maybe there'd have to be different infinity things that you get Yitri the dwarf to create for you, right?
Mhm.
There's no equivalent to a snap if you only have tentacles. You can't snap. So I think the intent plus a motion with the stones is what's needed. Okay, it's all dramatic for the movies.
I would have to say it's more kind of like a magician trick saying abracadabra. You don't actually have to snap your fingers. Thanos just chose to snap his finger. He could have just he didn't have to like when he was fighting Doctor Strange and using the Infinity Gauntlet, he didn't do, wave one hand and do this, and he didn't have to, cross his fingers. He
It wasn't Naruto hand signs
he
before the
wasn't doing
jutsu.
anything special. He was just using the Infinity Stones. When he made Drax and Mantis, all turn into like the various.
Closed his fist for those.
Oh, he
Yeah,
did. Well,
it was always some kind of motion. He does something.
It was
It's not always a
something.
snap.
Again, it was just something he just chose to do to just kind of like panache. It's like ta-da! So he just chose to snap his fingers, and Iron Man saw him snap his fingers, so it was like, I'm gonna do it to you. I don't think it really mattered.
Thanos just wanted to look cool as fuck. It was a finality. Like, he's just like, that's it. It's a wrap. So
the whole
yeah.
the ending of Endgame, where
Yeah.
Tony uses the stones to get it all from him and shit. Like Thanos didn't need to snap his finger. He could have just said, "And
that's
I'm
what I was
inevitable,"
talking
and done
about.
it.
They were literally prying his hand open, trying to keep him from snapping. So I think whatever the motion is, it's a motion, right? You got to think about what stone you're using, number one, and then it's some sort of it's got to be something that enacts it. Because think about it, if they put the stones into the gauntlet and the gauntlet is the weapon, well, you have to trigger the weapon somehow. It doesn't necessarily have to be a snap, I don't think.
Well, based on the rules set for us, you have to snap. Based on the rules, we haven't seen it done any other way. So maybe we do got to.
But he did other things with the Power Stone and the Reality Stone without snapping.
Yeah, I mean, there's no rules with the Infinity Gauntlet. They're just making it up as they go along.
No,
that's not fair. There's no rules.
Sad thing is that you're right. There are no rules. They can do whatever they want to do.
They do whatever the hell they want.
But to use all the stones, we've never seen it done without snapping your fingers. So that's always going to stand, according to what the Widow says here. This conversation could quickly devolve into the Infinity Hentai. How do so many people know what hentai is? Like I heard it I was watching AEW and Max, what's his name? Max Platinum. The rapper guy mentioned hentai.
You can't know about anime without knowing about hentai, and most people know about anime. I mean, it's the next step. You can't.
It's the next step.
It's the next step. I mean,
so the Hulk chose to copy Thanos. Tony, I disagree with that. The Hulk did choose because when he did it, he had to make a snap about it.
Because he didn't know how. Because again, none of them knew how to make it work. None of them knew how it worked.
Was Hulk there?
The thing they had seen was Thanos snapping.
They saw Thanos snap.
I don't think Hulk saw it. Banner didn't see that shit. Banner was too busy having an episode with Hulk.
He was there in Wakanda, so they probably
told him. Someone told him.
Footage,
yeah. Well, Thor was right in front of his face, so yeah, the finger snap happened. Yeah. Daniel Martin says that Ash kind of got a point there. Ash has points, but that's
not always good.
It was never all the stones, but we've never actually seen it with all the stones. Hey, don't insult Ashley while she's here. We appreciate her
best time to
attendance. All right, you insult Ashley, I'll insult you. Let me find a clip for you. Oh, you want to insult Ashley?
You guys are so screwed now.
25. After Endgame, does Baskin Robbins claim Ant-Man?
Mm.
So in the first Ant-Man movie, for those of you who are confused, he worked for Baskin Robbins. They fired him though. They fired him. But now is it like, oh, yo, that guy there, one of our top employees. We sent him off to do bigger and better things. We really wanted to keep him, but then we said, Scott, go be a hero that you were supposed to be. But most definitely, we are proud to have his photo up on the wall, like he used to work here at that exact location. They claim him, and they're dirty. They're scummy, but they do that. That's what businesses do.
They claim him, and he's got his own flavor.
See, I could see that particular Baskin Robbins claiming Ant-Man used to work here to try and get people to like, oh, maybe he'll show up again one day. But I don't see Baskin Robbins as a chain claiming him, but I do see, because again, even the manager was a big fan of his, because he was talking about how you're a criminal and all that stuff, and he was kind of like fanboying over him. So I can see that one Baskin Robbins and that one manager going, yeah, Ant-Man used to work here. I fired him. He got lippy with me.
He got lippy with me. Yeah.
He may have had to take on Thanos, but you know what? He still had to listen to me, type thing. I can see that.
I can see that happen.
I definitely think that they're claiming them. They probably just be like, oh, well, we fired him to honor his memory here at Baskin Robbins.
But hashtag recast T'Challa.
Yeah, they're definitely.
Go, you know what? If it wasn't for us firing him, he probably never would have joined.
Never would have been an Avenger.
We were an integral.
You're welcome, Scott.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Avengers.
Yeah, they're definitely repping it.
That's how they do. But if they did make a flavor, like you're saying, they'd make a flavor. That location would have like, what do you call it when it expands? Expand. It would have expanded. It would have been a successful flavor, and then it wouldn't be discontinued the way McDonald's stopped pizza and wings and stuff. And the snack wrap. They stopped the snack wrap.
They needed to stop.
Yes, but they've never stopped the McRib though.
That rotates.
Yeah, but they've never stopped it.
Can Ohio claim Black Widow?
Yep.
She was there for a couple of years when she was 9 years old, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, we're talking about the movie now. Okay, yes. She actually was a resident of Ohio. I mean,
how would they know?
She probably tells people that she's from Ohio. She doesn't just readily tell everybody. Yes, I was.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
everybody in Russia.
So wait,
but she doesn't tell people that though. I was raised in the Red Room in Russia. Yeah, she don't tell people that.
Usually, it's in universe. In this, I mean, like in real life, people in Ohio right now, like you right now, LeBron, the go-to Ohioans I know.
Not in Ohio, but okay.
Nina Turner. Okay, all you like Ohioans, all of you guys. Do you go, oh, Black Widow's from? She's one of us. The same way Canadians look at Deadpool. The same way. No. You can't claim her. No, you can't.
No, not like that. Now, if we're just talking about MCU Ohio, definitely for sure.
So did you see that in the cinema, the Black Widow movie?
I saw it at the drive-in. We still got to drive in.
Then my next question was, did people clap when it said Ohio? Because you would have saw it in Ohio.
You know what? When they started doing certain, I think it was either Civil War or Infinity War, but they had a scene in one of those movies that was set in Cleveland. In the whole, when I was actually living in Akron at the time, and the whole theater went nuts. So like stuff like that, yeah. You know what I mean? It's representative. We feel it for sure. I don't know if everybody necessarily was like, oh yeah, Ohio on Black Widow. Maybe it was just the level of movies.
Anyone beep their horns? Maybe.
No, it wasn't a reaction for the Black Widow movie. But I specifically remember, I think it was Infinity War, one of the first. Oh, it was wasn't it when Cap was giving his survivors remorse speeches in the group with one of the Russo brothers. He was talking about everybody. That was in Cleveland.
I didn't even know she was from Ohio, so I didn't even.
Yeah, watch the movie back right at the start. They were living in Ohio, where she flew the plane.
We'll tell you what happens. You don't have to put yourself through that. Okay.
I don't have to go through that again.
You want to touch on this one, Sergio?
I listen. If she's only lived there a couple years, you can't claim her, man. Come on now. Come on.
The next step is wild. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean?
When I said hentai is the next step,
Hentai is the next step. Yeah.
Bring back the snack wrap. Rhea, episode 7 of The Boys. Oh my god. Tristan's Mads Mama Bear says, "What would Ant-Man inspired ice cream be?" I guess
what
it
I
would
was
get
wondering.
it would get bigger and it would get smaller. Ice cream melts, it gets smaller automatically.
They probably just give you like the fucking 16 scoop ice cream cone and just let it melt, you know. And that's Ant-Man.
Oh man. Daniel Martin says
Ohioans instead of Canadians, Ohioans.
Yeah, shout out to Daniel Martin. That's correct. Ohioans.
What did I say? Ohioans? What's the correct way to say an Ohioan?
Ohioan. You got it. There it is.
They're from,
Daniel told you.
they're from Ohio. Who cares what they're called? Farmers? They're from Ohio.
Watch it, Toronto. Watch it, eh?
Hey, at least you pronounce the city's name right, Toronto. It's not everybody pronounces it usually with a hard T.
Toronto.
Yeah, Toronto.
I've heard people say Toronto, but usually it's like when you're being formal. I wouldn't say Toronto. I would say Torontonian. It's a hard T when you say it that way, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
27. Is Ross a good Secretary of Defense? He got the Avengers fighting themselves. He put a couple behind bars.
Yeah, he's had a lot of stuff going on under his watch. Now, granted, he's coming into a superhero age where in this universe, this is new for them. Every new excursion is new for them. So
he's not handling things the way Fury from S.H.I.E.L.D. handles things. So I can't say he's good. And at the end of the Black Widow film, since we're trashing on that movie, she was surrounded by them. And all of the other widows went away and they flew off. And she was just, all right, here I am. And she had no vehicle, no money, no anything except for a zip-up Black Widow suit. And she somehow escapes and finds... And then she goes to the raft where she could free Sam. And she freed... Who else did she free? Steve was there too, wasn't he? Like, she broke out. She broke out Sam only. She broke out Sam.
Ross couldn't have been Secretary of Defense during the Black Widow movie because he wasn't Secretary of Defense during the Hulk movie. So
he was in Civil War, and he said so.
He was in Civil War.
In 2016.
Right. But I'm saying he was...
because Black Widow predates Civil War.
Black Widow predates Civil War.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. It happens after Civil War. That's why she's on the run.
Because
she turned on the good.
Yeah.
She turned on them. She shot the thing at Black Panther.
He probably lost her. So if he's not in the Black Widow movie, he probably cost her job from everything that cost him his job from everything that happened in Civil War.
No, during Infinity War, he was still the Secretary of Defense. He told Rhodes when Sam, Steve, and when Black Widow arrived, he told, "Hey Rhodes, you better arrest these guys." And then he's like, "Yeah, for sure thing." So he was still the Secretary of Defense.
Yeah, and then he goes, "There's my."
Did we just find a plot hole?
No, I'm just saying he's a bad Secretary of Defense. Well, just one, exactly.
Yeah, just one. Yeah, just the shiny one, the one that sticks out the most. Yeah.
So I'm going with bad. Sergio going with.
Yeah, he's a shitty Secretary of Defense. Can I swear on your show, bud?
Yeah, feel free.
I guess it's.
I've done it a couple times. Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, he's not good.
Marcus, is he good or bad?
Bad.
All right. And Jaded Fanboy, is it good?
I'd say he's average. I mean, I don't think he's done it. I mean, how do you exactly handle the Avengers? You really can't.
Good point.
You know, I mean, like, he's had, technically, he would have had experience before everybody else because he knew he couldn't handle the Hulk back then. He can't handle the Hulk now. So now he's got to try and handle the Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America. I'd say he's doing an average job. I don't think he's doing a bad job.
Okay, and I'm corrected by Theo that Steve broke Sam at the end of Civil War.
He walks out the shadow at the very end before the credits roll. You're right.
Black Widow was her Quinjet. She was out on the Quinjet, so she was there. Okay. Yeah, that's right. I'm not wrong. I'm just a little bit. There's a missing hole that I'm filling in. I think we're supposed to find out later why he let her go, probably during Thunderbolts, but sadly, William Hurt passed away. It was part of a deal.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
William Hurt's passed away? Shit.
Yeah, the guy who plays the Thunderbolt Ross died.
Wow, I didn't realize that. How was this recent or?
Yeah, it was a
months
month
ago.
Oh man, damn.
Do what they're gonna do with what's his face?
T'Challa?
No, oh shoot, the creator of Marvel. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh,
Yeah,
Stan Lee.
Do what they're gonna do with Stan Lee. Just CGI him in.
I'm fine with CGIing William Hurt in if he's going to be in it for like a minute, like a short little thing, just to progress the story. But then again, he's not too integral to anybody's story, so let's let that one die, I think.
Do you think that goes over the way that Carrie Fisher being in the Star Wars film does if they do that with William Hurt?
Goes over? Like it'll be worse? What do you mean over?
Will it be a worse reaction to that of the Carrie Fisher CGI? Because it seems like people kind of repelled from that after seeing it in that movie. They were like, we can't do that because it just doesn't feel right. At least that was the sentiment that I was.
It was also that movie. It was also a terrible.
Well, yeah, that movie was terrible. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they were more upset with the dumb scenes as opposed to. I go, you this is what you did with it. This is how, this is what you did with the CGI. This is how you honored her memory with that.
Yeah.
So I think they were more upset with how stupid the scene was as opposed to that they did it.
Ashley says to bring in a new actor. I think if you bring in a new actor, it forwards the story and it doesn't take a real life death into consideration. Yeah, you know where I'm going, right?
Yep. But bring in a new actor. Absolutely, Ashley, you are 1000% right.
But then what happens with the T'Challa thing? Because you're not going to use a new actor for Chadwick Boseman's death, so that they'd be in sticky hot water. I think.
No. What? That's not fair because you can just hire a new Secretary of Defense. You can literally just hire a new Secretary of Defense.
Okay, then
recast Thunderbolt. Have William Thunderbolt Ross as he is in the MCU, just a new actor, not replace.
They don't even have to do that. They can just hire a new. They can just hire a new character to be a new actor. So in other words, the Secretary of Defense
sure.
It's not a guy named Bill.
It wouldn't be a recast per se. You just be putting in a new character.
Yeah. Like the guy that plays Frodo. He could become the new Secretary of Defense.
Ulysses Claw?
Yeah. No.
Elijah Wood.
Elijah Wood.
Oh.
He would be a funny.
Elijah Wood's character, right, is basically a known character in the MCU. So if they were to promote him,
not Elijah Wood, you're thinking of Bilbo.
Oh, Bilbo.
Whoever played Bilbo, the actor that played Bilbo.
There you go.
Bilbo. That played Bilbo.
Yeah.
If he was in Black Panther and he had enough of a presence and that he's recognizable, that if they were to promote him to Secretary of Defense, I don't think the audience would have been going, I think I would make so. Again, that's different than recasting T'Challa's character,
the main character of the franchise with superpowers that are specific.
It's not apples to apples.
It's not apples to apples.
But where they will back themselves into a corner is if they do this, if they do what you just said and they have a brand new character, then they're essentially safe because they're keeping the same standard. Where they're going to paint themselves into a corner is if they decide to bring back Ross, the character of Thunderbolt Ross, because then, okay, you felt all of this about Chadwick and you're doing this to honor him, and okay, we'll leave that over there. But then William Hurt is an Academy nominated multiple time actor. He's been around for decades. So now tell me that you can't honor William or William Hurt the way that you honor Chadwick Boseman, or is it honorable for either one of them? So where are we at with it, kind of thing? That's where they'll get themselves in trouble.
Because there's no rules for that. That's the problem, right?
But they made a rule, though. They set a precedent when they said that they
set a precedent. Yeah, but Disney, they don't care.
They don't.
Well, I don't believe
this was something they did. James Gunn was let go for something James Gunn wrote on Twitter years ago. Then James Gunn returned, so they can go back on their stances. Yeah. The thing is, I don't think ever actually gave a statement when it came to James Gunn. The same way we have Feige on camera going, we're going to honor Chadwick Boseman by not recasting the character. He actually said that. And right in the 2020 Disney Plus day, kind of the thing where they announced Ironheart, Armor Wars, they announced what a lot of things that day. And I'm forgetting, that's slipping my mind. But they gave us a lot that day, and he said so. Like we're not getting
Which
another.
is such a weird thing to proclaim, because it's like, let's be serious for a second. Actors live very wild lives. These are very wealthy people.
Miller. Excuse me. Sorry.
Like, no, you're fine. Like the likelihood that you're going to, and I'm not trying to be morbid, but the likelihood that you're going to lose one of these employees again within this expansive universe that you're building is more likely than not. So, but now you're telling me the only way to honor that actor in their passing is to retire their character. You said that. You made it that way. It was never a precedent for that to be that case, but that's what they chose to do. They chose to stamp it. This is respect. Okay, so then you only respect one of those actors that way. It's just going to be, it's going to come to pass where that's going to bite them in the ass.
Exactly. Recast Ross. Facts, Ash. We need that Red Hulk.
No, we
Sam
don't.
Elliott for a new Secretary of Defense. Okay. Sam Elliott. He's an old man. It was a split-second decision based on emotions. Yeah, they were the Minutemen. By not recasting in the 616, that thing, yeah. Question number 28 of 33 burning MCU questions. How many boyfriends before Peter has Michelle had? Is he a first? She was an awkward kid at the cafeteria, right? She was sitting all by herself. She didn't have friends. She was also part of like the school smart people team. So that also means, you don't have friends usually. I don't know what high schools you guys went to, but those dorky nerds weren't popular jocks or anything like that. How many boyfriends?
They also weren't as cute as Michelle either.
I was getting ready to say, girls that look like Michelle don't usually have trouble on academic teams or off them.
But she was never well put together. She's too young for me to say the next thing. Never mind. She belongs the character.
To the streets. She belongs to the streets, man. Yo.
No, I'd
one boyfriend?
At least one. Let's say one. At least one.
I just didn't really see. I mean, maybe because again, she wasn't very nice. She wasn't very friendly. She was very aggressive. She
read, man. When she was at Washington D.C. and talking about things that slaves have built, she was educating the audience.
Yeah, but I'm just saying is that when he first met her, she was like, I'm being nice to you by actually joining you at the table when she first interacts with them. So it's like she's not very friendly. So I don't really see.
Let me ask it a different way. In Far From Home, she kisses him in Europe. Was that her first kiss?
No.
It looked like it from the acting. It did.
Yeah. No way.
No.
Maybe Peter's, but
yeah.
It was Peter's. Yeah, 100% Peter's first kiss.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was the first kiss with somebody that she, liked like that. You experience different levels of love as you grow and you get older. So it's probably this whatever she's going through right now with Peter is new. It's exciting. I think I'm close enough to my teenage years that I can remember something like that.
Oh man, okay.
Hey, it's a real question, man. It's a real question.
For sure.
Yeah, you don't mention the 616. It's Earth 199999. That's what it is. And if it's the 616, then it's in a whole nother multiverse than the comic book 616 is in. Ilblurred Maddox says, yeah. By the way, Ilblurred Maddox got a channel, so if you guys want to support an up-and-comer, you can check out Ilblurred Maddox. Yeah, guess Marvel made choice even doesn't work out, not recasting some characters. I'm just saying, I think he puts it like that on purpose, particularly with the multiverse coming into play. Yeah, maybe there's going to be another universe version of T'Challa. I just prefer consistency, the same T'Challa, and you don't even got to explain why he has a bigger ears or bigger, who cares?
Also, with that, everything that we've gotten from the multiverse, that we theorized on, that we thought might happen, even John Krasinski is Fantastic Four, right? Getting casted. It's been temporary up to this point. It's been something that is not going to last and go on, other than maybe Kang. Kang is obviously going to go on, and that plays into a multiverse. But none of the cameos, none of the people that were brought in that we saw from oh my God, multiverse Captain Carter, multiverse Maria Rambeau, Doctor, or excuse me,
Black
Morgan
Bolt.
and Black Bolt. None of that has lasted. So if you're telling me that what I'm asking for is a T'Challa, and you're going to give me one that dies again, I'm okay. I'd rather you not even give me that at that point. Like I'm good. The ask is not to kill the character permanently. I don't want you to bring another version in so you can kill him off too, and he'd be temporary. So I'm weary of the multiverse aspect with all of this because it's a quick out to give you something temporary and to move on from it.
She was awkward. She still is. LOL. She just has boyfriend. She just has beef. What's BF mean?
Boyfriend.
She just had a boyfriend. Was she dating Flash? No, not him.
No, she wasn't dating Flash.
She was dating somebody, wasn't she?
Her and Flash, no.
Wait, no. Wait. Oh,
The other kid likes her. The guy who used to be in elementary school.
That's
the guy
Michelle. Is that
that's
Michelle?
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the chick he went to homecoming with. That's who I thought we were talking about this whole time. Okay, got it. Now this makes more sense why he was saying that, like she was never really put together. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah, she always was like frizzy hair, not really caring about.
She didn't care about her looks.
No, yeah, she didn't. So that might have been her first kiss. I yes, I'm switching. Yes, it was her first kiss.
T'Challa's son is rumored to be Black Panther 2. Thanks, bro. Appreciate the shout out. I hope he doesn't have a son because I'd like
a son that he'll never have a chance to raise.
Exactly.
Or see or know exist.
Typical Black man.
Go listen to Chadwick Boseman's interview.
Thank you, Jaded, for saying it because you're allowed to say it. It's okay,
At Howard University, he was given a speech about how he was casted in the actual soap opera. What was it called? No, he didn't actually say the name of the soap opera, but he didn't say the name of it. But in General Hospital, he asked, "Hey, does my character have a dad? What's going on here?" And they wouldn't help him and like make the character. They're just like, "Nah, we don't. What are you asking all these questions for?" All of a sudden, he's not on the show anymore.
Do you know who they cast?
Do
you know who actually got that role?
No.
Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, that's funny.
Michael B. Jordan actually ended up getting that role. I was literally talking about this story you brought up with Theo yesterday. Michael B. Jordan ended up getting that role. And it goes to show, sometimes if you dig a little too deep, then it's maybe a little bit easier not to go with you and go with someone who doesn't ask as many questions.
But if we're honoring Chadwick, we wouldn't have a fatherless son because that's what he wasn't for in the General Hospital role. So if we're honoring Chadwick, don't give him a son.
Hold on. Your definition of honoring Chadwick is not Disney's version of honoring Chadwick. That's the thing you have to understand.
Yeah.
Disney's honoring Chadwick. Like it's the same way Disney honors, Gay Pride Month, but they'll honor they honor the gay movement for 1 month out of the year. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're honoring
it's performative.
It's performative.
What did you call it, Marcus? It's called rainbow wash?
Rainbow washing. Yeah. We were talking about that. And how they basically use these social issues as a Trojan horse to sell product. And that's all it is. And so now you take that. That's a entire group, a subculture of people's identity. Now you're trying to boil it down to an individual. And you're attempting to sell your film on the back of this man's death.
Yeah.
I'm not comfortable with that.
Rather have Krasinski as Doom.
It's not so much you're comfortable, it's you're willing to call them out on it. That's the thing. You're willing to call them out on it.
Sometimes media isn't willing to call out people on certain things, and that's when they show their bias. And then sometimes they got to. I feel like right now something happened in the Ezra Miller, like the ongoing.
Lord Jesus.
I won't dig into it, but I mean like Variety's talking, and now like these news articles, I think they have to sustain some sort of credibility. They can't just ignore like news stories anymore and do a solid to these studios.
They have to base it off of audience reaction. Once enough of the audience was going, okay, now the audience is turning on Ezra Miller. Now we can safely turn on Ezra Miller. That's it. It's just what.
But if you're news, why wouldn't you just report news that it's the Hollywood bubble? It is an actor. We're gonna report. Why not?
You
Why?
know why?
Because they don't work
Disney,
like that anymore.
Paramount, Viacom, all these names. Like it's really about like 5 people that own everything. You
Yeah.
wanna be in good graces because whenever you get scoops and exclusive, it's
Yep.
literally from the studios themselves. So you don't want to ever agitate them. So
It's
you
the
will.
access.
Mhm.
It's access. That's what it is. And if you're Warner Brothers and you've remained mum on it, well, you expect all of the parent companies underneath Warner Brothers who are tasked to tell the news and tell the truth are going to question the very higher up of that media conglomerate because they think it's a good question to ask. No, if the official word from Warner Brothers is that we're not talking about this right now,
That's
same
it.
as Disney, same from Viacom, same from all of them. That's it. They're not even going to get asked. They will not get asked outside of media like this, like where we're at right now.
Because we're not paid by those guys. Ashley asks here, who's Ezra Miller? There's like this film studio. It's not very popular, DC, and one of their tentpole
Who's Ezra
superheroes run really fast, sort of like Makari.
They tried. They're trying to make him a temple character. That didn't happen.
Why does Warner Bros? I said I didn't want to stick on this, so we're not going to stick on the Justice League and DC stuff. Next question here is 28. Whoops, 29. Does Bast? Oh, we're just talking about death. So the Panther god Bast. It's God, right? God. Thor: Love and Thunder. God's dying. God Butcher. All that stuff. Sergio, does Bast die in Love and Thunder?
So, to be honest, I'm not familiar with the character of Bast.
It's the Panther god that. Oh, we didn't see her in the movie. Never mind. But we
They
might.
talked about it briefly. So it's the god who empowers T'Challa and endows him with the his enhanced abilities.
Oh, okay.
That's their deity. That's Wakanda's, or at least what the crown city where T'Challa's family reigns. That's the deity that they worship, is the Panther god Bast.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Did you read Jason Aaron's Mighty Thor? Are you familiar with that story?
Vaguely, very, yeah.
You know how there's a God Butcher, the one that Christian Bale is going to play.
Okay, yeah.
So he's out here slaughtering all of these quote gods, and since Bast is one of them, and since they got, maybe that's why we're not maybe we're not getting the Black Panther trailer, because you actually got to see this Thor movie first, and then a couple weekends later they'll give you the Black Panther trailer because Bast is dead. And what do you? Well, I answered the question kind of before you got to Sergio. My bad.
No, but it's okay. I think that could be a way for them to explain, for sure, Black Panther's death, right? Yeah. I mean, they got to figure it out somehow, right? If they're not gonna replace the
role,
you know what I mean? So it's as good as any. I mean, I would buy it depending how they laid it out. I said, okay.
Again, I think anything to do with the Black Panther dying, I go, ooh. But let me watch the story play out. Let's see what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
You may be able to save yourself.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Does Bast
I
die?
don't think you're going to see any god die, because with what I saw from the trailer, it's he used to kill gods, gets reborn or whatever, and then immediately goes after Thor. So, I mean, maybe he might, because like he's going to be reborn or whatever, however they're going to bring his character back, and then he's just going to start going after everybody, because I think the story would be it's him going after Thor, but him having to find a sword first. I don't think he's going to have time to kill other deities. I think it's mostly him focusing on Thor, because, it's not like it's not like Zeus was worried. It's not like any of the other gods were worried about.
Well, there was a dead one on the floor, that big beast. That thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying it could have been like a flashback. It could have been him before he got, because again, I don't know how the story's going to work, right?
Well, he's called the God Butcher, and we see a dead god on the trailer. I got to put that together. Yeah, sure, it could be a flashback, and the trailer trickery does exist, but from what they presented in the style they presented, God Butcher Gore got to that god first.
Okay.
And it matches the comic book panel also, where Gore gets that god. So I'm gonna go with
I think she could, and it would leave me disappointed for a couple reasons. Number one, the onus has been put for the decision not to recast on Nate Moore and Ryan Coogler, right? Because those are the ones who've, or at least Nate Moore is the one who came out and spoke about the process about it and how it happened. So for you guys to put that decision on your shoulders and be like, oh, well, we're not going to recast the character. But then the key plot event, which is assuming that Dash dies and then her avatar then dies. That's how we learned it happens in the MCU for Moon Knight, right? If that's the way that T'Challa dies in Black Panther 2, you've essentially punted your mountain, your hill, your obstacle to overcome in this movie to Thor and Love and Thunder. You've punted your situation that you've created to another director and creative team.
Oh, like a hot potato. You basically you put the onus on him. No, it's not my fault. It's not like I didn't want Black Panther. That director, that was his decision, so we're gonna have to honor his decision.
Exactly. Thing. Like you've made this decision, right? We're sticking with it. You haven't responded to any calls or any questions. Okay, that's what we're going into.
Or petitions.
Or petitions. But you will be shifting the weight or the difficulty of how to work that into canon onto an entirely different creative team who never asked for this, by the way, who never asked to have to deal with this at all. But you made that decision, and then you don't even put it on your plate to carry it out. And then also, I feel like for us to know going into Black Panther 2, I mean, I've known. I've been hard in this stance, and I've known what I've known, you know, and I've been willing to be wrong if it turned out a different way. But to be telling the audience 100,000% that Black Panther is gone, because there is still a large faction of people who don't even remember. Oh yeah, Chadwick Boseman died. Oh yeah, are they going to have Black Panther? Who's going to be Black Panther? Who are still oblivious?
That's casuals, the majority of the fan base.
So you're going to tell them straight up, he's dead. You're basically coming to see a funeral movie. That's how we're marketing it. That's how we're going to market it. Like straight up, like you're not even going to massage it in, have a Chadwick Boseman tribute video in the middle of the trailer. No, you're going full force. He's dead. Death of the King. Come on, come all, come see it.
We'll see how they market. The trailer hasn't come out yet. We'll see. Yeah. Petitions are a waste in fandoms. So you mean that Amber Heard's character is not going to be replaced by Camille Vasquez?
Have you seen the Zack Snyder's Justice League? Did you watch that? Did it happen? Did it come up on HBO Max? Did it come to fruition? Yeah. I understand that there's a different standard there, and it was two completely different movements. But anytime anyone is calling for anything that they feel like is being done unjustly, why would you?
And there's a lot more than just a comic book fandom. There's been a lot of things that have happened in other type of fandoms that petitions have actually, worked.
Well, the Sonic example is pretty good, but that wasn't a position. That was just everyone agreed that Sonic looked terrible. The memorial in the Wakandan throne room was already leaked. But, Mads, is it because T'Challa died in the blip? Does this entire movie take place in the 5-year period where, we thought T'Challa was dead? We thought all these guys, half the world was dead.
Maybe you're making too much sense, Chill. You're making too much sense. That's too seamless.
Holding hope. I don't know.
You know what? I never even thought of that. But
I've been saying it for a long time. I might not have said it when you were on the show, but I've said it on a couple shows here.
In the blip, yeah.
Like if they're doing it during the blip, that would basically alleviate all problems.
Everything. It would make it so simple.
And we could grieve the death of the character while everyone's grieving the actor. Also, it'll be a great seamless thing to do. Except I don't work over there at Marvel Studios.
But even if they do that, how do they carry forward though? Because let's say Black Panther 2 takes place during the blip. Well, then when does Black Panther 3 take place? I mean, it's like
let's just do it later.
So I'm going to answer that question too. But another thing that they would have been able to do, going through all of this stuff with COVID and their negotiations with Letitia Wright, it would have allowed them to move on from her in this movie because Shuri disappeared. Right? She was missing. She wasn't. They didn't have her down as officially snapped, but she was missing. So you really theoretically could have done this amalgamation. Let's go tour Wakanda and see the worlds and sights movie without your headache and your fallen actor, and no one would have blinked an eye.
Yeah, nobody would have cared.
No one would have blinked an eye because they would have understood the situation that was at hand. And plus, it would have flowed perfectly. Well, not perfectly, but it would have flowed. It would have made
A lot
the most
better.
canonically. Yeah.
Then
But
the third one, then the third Black Panther movie is King T'Chaka as a young man. It would do, and we follow his adventures.
well, I don't even think you need to go that far. What's wrong with an extra credit scene where somebody's walking out? You only see the feet of the suit. Like,
it's
we made a
T'Challa.
discovery, but we can't tell
Oh,
everyone.
like
We got to keep it
yeah.
between me and
Like
you.
the Superman scene in Shazam. Like
Thank
that
you.
would, yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
You just never see the
You
actual.
just never see him, and you give them time
Hey.
to pick an actor.
I reject the Superman scene of Shazam, but because of the circumstances in this scenario, I'd be okay with it. But Shazam, go pay Henry Cavill, give him the money,
Yeah.
use him. You have this young actor who is fit and is loved by the fan base. He is worth of the money he is asking for, and the creativity is like Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman is not going to be something I'm going to be lining up on opening day to check out.
I don't even know if that thing's going to get off the ground. Have you heard some of the news coming out of there?
What have you heard?
So he was trying to make it kind of like a period film. He wanted to have it be a story of a black man in like the 40s and 50s.
Okay.
Right? And then WB told him to go back and rewrite all that shit.
Gee, I
Which
wonder
film are
why.
you guys talking about right now?
I
Rewrite-
can't.
They,
Black
they
Superman.
literally want it to
Oh,
be
okay.
a black Clark Kent. That's all they want. They want a modernized black man Clark Kent. That's all they want.
And have it take place in the 40s and 50s. I can't imagine why they would have a problem.
Why they have a problem with that? Yeah,
I can't.
exactly.
Maybe it's because of the new ownership that told him rewrite the script, but the prior ownership was like, sure, yeah, Steph. And right around the time George Floyd
Could've been.
died, and everyone was about like we love black people type things, and they were just like accepting of anything black, maybe. And then here comes a couple of years later, oh, nah, you're gonna have to rewrite that script. I can see, I can see that
But
happening.
sometimes it doesn't even have to be a change in ownership. Look at Misha Green after Lovecraft Country. She got one season, insanely popular TV show, and then they scrap it. And then they totally scrap it. That was the same leadership. How does your most popular show post wrapping up Game of Thrones not get a season 2? I wonder. Maybe the subject matter. I wonder.
Who's in charge of Warner Brothers? Who made that decision?
I don't know. Don't know, but I know she didn't get renewed, and now she's at Amazon, I think.
Oh,
Either Amazon or Netflix, one of them. She left, but they paid her a lot of money.
that's good.
Yeah.
The 30th question here: which episode will she receive the name Ms. Marvel? I don't think she'll get it at all. I don't know. I don't think, because it didn't happen in episode 4. Spoilers. It won't happen. No.
Wait a minute. It's 4 episodes and she still didn't give herself a superhero name?
Yeah, she keeps on like talking about it though. I am not Nightlight. We don't like that name, and she would mention it here and there, but she never actually gave herself the name. How does she come up with Ms. Marvel? You'd have to meet Captain Marvel first, and then right. Maybe Carol says that to her. Hey, so you're like me, huh? You got a little Marvel suit, huh?
Well, she doesn't
Okay, well,
have to.
Ms. Marvel, come over here. I think that's
Will
the way
it
she'll.
feel shoehorned at this point if she just gets it at the very end of episode 5?
That's how Hawkeye ended. Episode 6. Hawkeye's
No,
6.
she never officially gets a name by the end of that show.
It said Hawkeye on the screen right
Doesn't
after.
matter. Doesn't matter.
You're right. It doesn't matter, and
guys,
it's
you
not
go.
official. You're right.
I think the last line is, "I have an idea for a name," and then it just cuts off. Right?
I mean, but like, what
It
is
doesn't
this?
matter. It doesn't matter. She never officially got a name.
She will have the name Hawkeye. What they did was kind of weak because they wanted to see, will the fans accept it? If the series takes off, then yeah, she'll definitely be Hawkeye, which is why they didn't commit to the name.
I agree. I think that's exactly what they did. I think they left it ambiguous.
Mhm.
So they're gonna be like, oh, well, maybe they're both Hawkeye, or maybe she's the new one. I don't know. Do you like her? We'll let you know on the next one, kind of thing. Like they didn't put their manhood on the table and just declare it. They kind of left it
Sloth
out
baby.
there. Yeah.
She'll get her
Oh.
name. She'll get it by the end of the last episode.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in the next episode, she won't get the name. 6th episode, she will get the name.
I think so, for sure. There's no way. There's no way.
You agree with me that Carol will call her, "Hey, Ms. Marvel, come over here."
I think Carol will make a cameo appearance somehow, either via like that what is it, the holographic thing or something, or she'll show up, I think.
Or Skype.
Well, no, it could also be the fact that the media ends up giving her that name because I'm going along the lines of the Spider-Man one where it's like J. Jonah Jameson. He's the one that said Dr. Octopus. He's the one. Like it's usually the media that would, like with serial killer, so to speak.
Yeah.
They create the name for it.
Yeah.
So I could see it because again, I haven't seen the show. I've only seen episode
So
1.
hey, J. Jonah Jameson can give her the name here.
Right, but I'm saying
He's a Sony character.
she always, whenever she's using the power, she's always dressed in that Miss Marvel outfit, is she not?
Yeah.
Okay, so eventually, once it gets into the news, somebody's gonna go, "Oh, is she like a Miss Marvel?" And then that name catches. So I don't think it's gonna be her actually giving herself the name. It'll be like the media giving her the name, and she's gonna go, "Miss Marvel." I like that, or something like that,
And I saw this Disney live show scene with Sam and everyone. It's all the characters that they were shooting in the last year, and then during the Disneyland cruise? What was it? The Avengers Land. During that, you're gonna see them say, "Hey guys, be kind to people, and these are the codes and ethics that we've got here, terms and conditions of staying here." They've got like all the heroes telling you that. She'll get back. Her name is Marvel in season 2, just to milk the show. LOL.
Well,
We'll see about that.
In the comics, her costume, doesn't she create her costume via her powers?
No, she wears like a burkini, like a swimsuit that covers her whole body, and then her friend Bruno creates a sticky like serum that he puts on the suit so that when she stretches and whatnot, she'll still be able, like the suit won't break.
So even in the comic, it's a homemade suit.
Yeah, it's homemade.
Okay, then because I was thinking maybe she kind of creates an official suit, and then that's when she gets her name. Maybe that's what because as far as with what I've seen, she's really using a cheap looking homemade
Captain Marvel cosplay.
Captain Marvel costume. So I'm thinking maybe there'll be an episode where she actually has like an actual official cool looking outfit, and then that's when she'll probably get a name or something.
Well, aren't they piecing it little by little throughout the show? Like the scarf is part of her end costume, I think. That.
Yeah, the red scarf that she got from her friend.
Yeah,
they're getting there, and that's how you do 6 episodes.
Scarf is part of her costume.
Yeah, she also has the mask thing that goes over your eyes.
So they're piecing it together. It looks like little by little. I mean,
yeah, maybe she'll get her actual powers in episode 6.
Or in season 2.
Is her bangles going to help explain where the 10 rings come from? Yeah, they've got to be connected, and what there are, what they lead to. I'm gonna say yes to that one. Captain Marvel cosplay, best way to describe it, because that's what it is. She was dressing up to go to the convention. 31, has activism overtaken the Ms. Marvel series? Yes. Next question. Like they just trying to show you guys, hey, look, we're coming out the airport. Here's the sign, Karachi, City of Lights. But you guys didn't know it's called the City of Lights. All right, that's cool. But then every theme, religion and culture wise, that they're introducing you to the show in this show, it feels like it's like their job to do it, and it's sickening. It's taken away from the superhero aspect of it. If you want people to like the culture, I'm just make a good show, and people will like her.
Yeah,
you feel like they're force feeding like a different. What do you mean, chill? Like that?
Yeah, they're force feeding it. They're showing you it, and the story is taking a hit because of it. Like it's being sacrificed. I think it's happening.
I think
especially with the most recent episode.
Yeah.
I think overtaken is the wrong word because it was like that from the beginning. It
It
never
was like that, and I've been criticizing it from the
I,
beginning.
I'm like, I go overtaken. I mean, when did it
This
not?
most recent episode, though, where they actually traveled over to Pakistan, was
Oh,
like,
really?
holy, yeah. Watch the most recent episode. You'll see they get out the airport. You see like you know when you go to New York City and
You
it's like,
gotta see. You gotta
oh,
see.
you're at the taxi, you roll down the window, and you're looking at the city, the scenery, and everything, and then they just
Yeah.
kind of set the whole tone of the show. They
Yeah.
did that more than once, maybe twice or 3 times, but they did it more than once, where they just wanted to show you around. They talked about the food that they were gonna eat and how it's spicy and it's so sickening.
It's spice.
Yeah, they do. They wanted to show you the teens in that region and how they get down and the things they do for fun. And
I don't know,
because
but I liked all of that, man. I like that from the beginning. They're showing us, brown culture, different culture, and because we don't get that often, right? And then I was looking at the credits of the people involved in the show. It seems like a lot of them, are that background, right? So it's not like you got.
you're not gonna get what happened with Thor. What if Miles Morales was Thor? You're not gonna get a
Exactly, you know what I
misrepresentation.
mean?
That's for us apparently, bro. Y'all safe. We good. You know?
Oh man,
But it's not a misrepresentation. It's more so like an over representation of like, so what if the culture looks this way? It is not like, did Spider-Man have that? Did he have that crux of showing his culture?
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't think
you're
it
talking about
rises
Miles
to
in,
the
in,
level
in
of
the.
Oh, I was
offense.
talking about Homecoming and like Peter Parker Spider-Man. I was
Yeah.
talking
Oh,
about.
okay.
I don't think it rises to the level of expense. Or offense. I think that at some point, if you've dedicated most of your time, if you got 40 minutes to tell a story for an episode,
Yeah.
and you've gotten to the 25-minute mark, and none of that, whatever you've put into that half, has moved the story forward, has intensified the plot or raised the stakes in any real way, then not only have you not done what you're supposed to do, which is tell a good story, but you've also done a detriment to that group, in my estimation, to that group you're trying to represent, because now you're forcing where you could be intertwining that culture into the story.
Yeah. There's
Right?
an example of them doing that though.
Yeah.
There was a scene where they had a bunch of kites and you haven't watched the episode. The kite scene was okay. It was like something's happening culturally with the kites, but they're also using the kites in the the doodles that they would put on the screen and stuff. So that's vague enough. But also if the reason she's there is to talk to her grandma to get to the bottom of this bangle thing, how is that not the first thing that happens? How does how many minutes into the episode did we get until that moment? She needs to be chatting with, and it needs to be a long conversation too. And it wasn't. It was like a quick one, and like, okay, now I'm here. Let's go sightseeing with the cousins. It was totally poor. It was very apparent to me that yes, we're here for our activism. We're here to familiarize the millions, the masses, to this culture that doesn't get proper representation, which I acknowledge that, but is not your goal. It's not your duty. No one paid you guys.
I don't think it's their responsibility either to explain Islam to everyone.
Oh, there's a religion and a culture. There's two.
Yeah. I don't think that's their responsibility to make us comfortable with it or even give us a history lesson. I think it's incumbent on them to simply make a good show using that representation, and that does more for elevating people's consciousness or making them feel more interconnected with people, right? Like find basic human connections that everybody likes and bring it together through that instead of trying to take me through a Hooked on Phonics, you know what I mean, for an entire episode.
So it was the more sort of the execution you guys were really
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then story-wise, maybe it just didn't drive the story forward.
Yeah.
But I think all the MCU shows have had at least one or two filler episodes, right?
Yes.
So it's not a problem just with Miss Marvel,
No, it's definitely not isolated to this show. Yeah. Absolutely not. No.
If we're talking filler episodes, sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not an issue. It's an issue of implementing it into the character. Okay. In other words,
shout out to your cousin, good-looking guy.
Here's the thing: you want to incorporate the Muslim faith. That's great. Do that.
Bro, you did that when you casted. You already did that when you.
Hold on.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
establish it on how it affects. What's her name? Miss Marvel.
Nakia,
Kamala.
No, the character's name.
Kamala.
Kamala. If you're going to implement the Muslim faith and you're going to have the mother and the parents, establish how that influences Kamala as a character herself. Okay, like she hasn't, because my knowledge is from Chillmonger's videos. There was a conversation that she had in the mosque with her friend about the hijab, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, how does that conversation?
It doesn't. It just familiarizes the hijab to the audience who don't
Right.
understand what hijabs are, which is a large part of America isn't Muslim, majority, obviously. But like, did you need to actually do that so that they can go, oh, next time I see a woman with a hijab, I'm gonna understand that she's wearing that. It helps her feel like herself. Did you need to do that? No, you didn't.
No,
It wasn't
that's the
part
thing.
of.
If they had somehow incorporated, like her mother being the way she is, how does that influence Kamala? If the show did that, then you could have the 20 minutes of in your face, but as long as it's implemented into the character, not even just the show, like plot wise, okay, just explain how it makes her her.
I think it does though.
Not
It's
woke,
a coming of age story, right? She's Miss Marvel, the Kamala. She's trying to overcome this generational trauma, right? You know, that's passed down, you know, from grandmother to mother to daughter, right? So it's her becoming her own person, her own hero,
right? But I'm saying if you took out all of that, if you took out all of the cultural references and stuff, would that have changed Kamala in any way? No, she's still the same. She would still be the same person.
Yeah, the super.
And that's the problem. That's the problem that I have with it.
Now, this guy says here that Moon Knight focus on this dissociative personality disorder, and that's something there too. Like it's a similarity. Yeah, it's not apples to apples, but it's something like where there's this like cause, this social cause that we want to draw attention to and represent so positively, or familiarize yourself with people who separate their personalities. Disassociative. Yeah, there's people who do that stuff, okay? And they wanted to introduce this to you in a show, and you know, all right.
But that's different though. It's because they didn't actually have a story about Moon Knight. They wanted to focus on the character. They wanted to focus on the regular guy, right? So it's like, again, that's still shoddy writing because it's like everybody's going, we want to see Moon Knight. We want to see Moon Knight. And the show's going, yeah, no, we have this story we want to tell. Maybe in season 2 we'll give, like, who wanted the hippopotamus, really? Who really wanted the hippopotamus?
6 episodes, you don't got time to waste. Black Panther does, LOL. Black Panther has a fictional culture. Yeah, they use other themes and other, like the guy with the lip, but like, did the guy with the lip really take from the story? No, they've had aspects in that movie.
Yeah.
And then same thing with Shang-Chi. I feel like the story of Shang-Chi was strong. Well, the culture stuff didn't take over, you know, not in a bad way. If you want to say kung fu fighting itself is the culture, then sure, then maybe it was all over the place. I like the way it was done. I just saw them Black Panther 2 pics on my Instagram when I'm hype. I did not see the Black Panther 2. Did they actually release finally some photos on set? Does well threaded, not as preachy as Ms. Marvel. Okay.
They don't really preach. I mean, even Killmonger is just
he preached
people. Yeah, but not about Wakanda. Like, in other words, he wasn't really preaching about Wakanda. He was kind of more.
He was said all of you are on the throne, comfortable when there's a billion people
baptizing them. He wasn't, you know, hyping up Wakanda and saying, "Oh, look at this beautiful, you know, part of Wakanda and how wonderful it is and stuff." He was.
Next thing Widow says here is, Brel, are they new pictures? Yeah, I want to know that too. Episode 4 was weak and the villains are weak, but episode 1 to 3 were strong.
Oh, they have a villain now. Good. Okay.
I don't think it was a filler. I think it was a transition episode. There was a lot of filler in there, a lot of nothingness. Episode 4 was weaker because they info dumped. Sure did. Ashley Atuma 1 was new. Huh?
About the pictures, I guess she's talking about 1 was new.
32 of 33 burning questions. Since everybody forgot Spider-Man's name, what is Matt Murdock's motivation for taking Peter's case now? Did that cameo even happen? Is there even going to be a court date? The
No.
spell made everybody forget Peter Parker.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense because they said they already dropped the case, and the only person that was in trouble was Happy.
Does Happy have a case anymore?
Yeah, but you don't. That has nothing to do with Spider-Man anymore.
Do you guys hear someone in the background? Who's
It's
that?
This guy.
I thought I muted him. Hold on. I can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves. Yeah, he's muted. So
It's not me.
maybe it is me.
Sure.
Is it you? Oh, it wasn't even that loud anyways. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
because they end up saying, because Matt Murdock ends up saying all charges against you have been dropped, so there's no reason for him to take his case. So Matt Murdock goes,
I remember that.
Yeah, because at the table he goes to them, all your cases, the charges against you have been dropped, but then he goes to Happy and goes, but you're still in trouble for having stolen, Stark Industry tech, and then that's how we get the miracle box on how he's able to cure everybody.
Okay, you're all wrong. Ms. Marvel isn't preachy. Yeah, Ashley, we're gonna talk about the film.
It's a little preachy, Ashley. Like, I'm not mad at the representation. I just think it goes a little overboard. It's a little corny at certain spots.
I think they accomplished their goal.
I'll give you that. I'll say it is getting a little CW-ish corny, but I don't think they over. I think it's just people are just being exposed to something different, right?
That could be it too. Yeah. Anytime you're seeing a new culture, new community, and it's not common or it's not something that you see all the time, it could be off.
Yeah, but it's not being used into the story. You don't just.
I didn't need to see the father on the day of the son's wedding. Hey, you're so brave because of the way that you dress out there, and I know you're gonna handle this. I don't care if you don't got much money.
That doesn't do.
What did that have to do with the story?
Like anything.
Kamala's eavesdropping, watching her father. What they were trying to do was humanize people who look that way to an audience who have parents who are hateful and maybe raising little racist kids, but like counter programming that with no, look, they're actually humans too. That's what they were doing. It's not your responsibility, show, to do that. It's not.
Even Nakia's subplot, right? They didn't involve Kamala in the election, the Moss board election. They didn't involve her in that at all. Like, it was just a totally separate subplot for Nakia.
Women can be in positions of power, even in the Islamic faith. You see that?
Yeah, it's like, no, what does that mean for Kamala? What did that do for Kamala? She didn't even pay attention. She told her about it, told her that she won, and she was like, oh, okay. Oh, wait, you won? Like, it didn't affect
It was
her.
knocking on your door like a Jehovah's Witness is, trying to introduce a religion to you. That's what they were doing during the show. It didn't elevate Kamala Khan or anything. You casted Iman Vellani. She looks the way she looks. You did it. Any sort of activism was accomplished from day one, moment one, when you decided to do the Kamala Khan. Now, go make it awesome. Go make these kids.
Or at least make it matter. Just make it matter. That's all I'm asking. If you're going to show it to me, if you're going to spend majority of the show doing that, make it matter. Make it have a stake on something.
Or even something as simple. You have a scene in a mosque, fine. Have some supervillain show up at the mosque.
They did.
Well, maybe not inside, but
not inside,
but their shoes on.
She goes outside and she sees, and it's like there's a reason you had him at the mosque, is because that's where a supervillain's about to attack something little.
I think though that they're just this is their everyday life. They're showing the different aspects, right?
Yeah, but nobody else has done that.
They're gonna be at a mosque, right? Or they're gonna be at their at a Pakistani restaurant or whatever like that. It's just an everyday thing. It's not nothing, right? You're showing them in different settings, in different environments, right? That's
you're.
Yeah. I mean, basically, that's just basically, like if we, I don't know if they had a Latino character and they showed us at I don't know, at a taco joint or something like that. It's just, hey, this is where we're gonna be. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
So if the conversation that they're having is integral to the plot of this Latino character. Like when I watch the Blue Beetle film, sure,
Mhm.
he's eating tacos. I want them to be talking about what they're going to do next with his powers. I want the person he's talking to also to be like a core character who's still going to be there episodes later. I want it to mean something. They can have themes that are specific to the people of their background. But then the story's got to be moving because of it,
Yeah.
or you're just trying to show me a day in the life, a slice of life from the people who live, and that's not helping anything.
That's a great show. It's not a superhero show. That's the thing. Okay, we're not watching Miss Marvel to watch the life and times of a teenage.
An ABCD, American born confused Daisy. Oh, you don't have to tell me what that means. I know what it means. Okay, then why did you wait for her to say this, the whole acronym? Why? Because you wanted the audience to be listening and be like, oh, is that a terminology? Okay, cool. Now I know. He said the same thing. He said ABCD, then spelled it out for her, and then she said, I know what it is. Bruh.
But just to one last thing, to your point, Jaded, you said, it's a superhero show. We're not here to see like her different, just chilling teenagers. But I think part of the show it's a coming of age story, right? It's not
but
a superhero show, right? Yeah.
Again, we've seen coming of age stories, and it doesn't take this long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they overstayed their welcome.
Yeah. If it was 2-3 episodes, that's fine. But it's not 2-3 episodes. It's the whole show. It's the point of the show. And
we won. The widow said yes. She agrees at times. It's cringe. We'll take it. Oh, that's it. That was it. That was the ending of that conversation. And then
I don't want to oversell it. I don't want to do what the show is actually doing and just.
We got one more question left.
Yeah, I don't have to over explain.
I think the culture is going to matter because the history of the culture and the artifacts, but not everything that they mentioned is going to culminate, but some might. Yes. Still have not watched the last episode. You're in the wrong place, bro. Yeah, not every scene is about a villain or whatever. You just so part of the character's life and what kind of person she is. I'll take a couple of those. I won't take a lot of it though.
It just shouldn't be the majority. That's all.
Guys, it's a TV show. The supporting cast have mini arcs. Have you guys ever watched a TV series before?
What are they? It's a supporting cast. Who are they supposed to be?
You're talking a 6-episode series as opposed to a 5-season TV show with 25 episodes. That's a totally different. That's totally different.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I want tacos right now myself.
Hey. That's what I'm saying. We're gonna be eating.
He's like, that's where you're gonna catch us. That's where we're gonna be at.
That's where you'll find me.
Yeah, I doubt we're gonna find you at a Taco Bell though.
The final question here. Hey, K-Dot, wish you were here to answer this question. How many DC films does it take to screw a light bulb? Question 33 is a serious one. Okay. Do casual fans have it better? A lot of them don't know about T'Challa and the whole recasting stuff. A lot of the casual fans right now, and the answer is obviously yes. They have such a benefit of not knowing what happened in comic books, so that when they see the movies, they'll never have an expectation and they'll go, wowzers, that's awesome. Us, we are always going to prefer what we've been sitting on for years and knowing and reading and watching, and then we go to the movie theater and it doesn't play out the way it's supposed to. We go, ooh, they're not supposed to change the superhero superpowers or other things. Like they're us fans who are not casual, who are hardcore fans. I got it way worse. The casuals got it better. Marcus?
Agreed. I think it's a much better mental place to be in to be a casual fan because your dissonance guards you from any of this stuff that we're talking about. If you don't know what any of this is supposed to look like,
dissonance.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, cool. Yeah, that's how you end up with so many people being like, Kevin Feige, shit's gold. Because if you don't know what all this stuff is built on, there's not much to criticize because they put a lot of money into it. It looks well. They get stars to play their characters. And it usually gets fairly good, crowd reaction. It's just not. You have to be, like you said, you have to be tapped in. You have to have read these stories years in advance in anticipation to see it on screen to have any type of level of disappointment, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Jaded fanboy, do casual fans have it better?
Okay, the thing is, I've always had disdain for casual fans, so I really don't care. Casual fans are. It's not that they have it better; they have it different. So it's like they can go into seeing, Wonder Woman and don't know anything about the character, and it's like, okay, this is Wonder Woman, or they can go see Shazam and then go, okay, this is Shazam, or this is Black Adam. They don't know anything, so it's not that they don't know; they also don't care. Okay,
They don't know enough to care. Yeah,
no,
that's
it's
right.
not that they don't. No. Hold on, because everybody starts off as a casual fan, gets interested, and then goes, "Oh, I like Iron Man. I want to know more about Iron Man. I want to read his comics." Casual fans go, "No, I have absolutely no interest in actually being interested in comic books."
Even
So
if
they
you're
don't
not a
care.
comic book fan, I consider people who are hardcore fans, just if they watch the movies 10 times and they buy all the merchandise, I would say you're not a casual fan anymore. If you know the words to every, quote, if you can do that, then
But then they're fans of the movies. They're
Right.
not
There's only
fans.
one
That's
medium
the
that they're
difference.
experts in.
You can watch, if you've watched every MCU movie and you watched every DC movie, you are a fan of the movies. You are
so
not a
K
comic
dot
book
K
fan.
dot is not a casual fan though, but K dot doesn't read much comics.
So again, but he's a fan of the movies. Don't say that just because you've seen every Iron Man movie, you're suddenly a fan of the Iron Man character. It's two different things.
No, you can't say that.
No. And if you want to call it gatekeeping, tough. Welcome to the fandom, because that's how it works. Gatekeeping is part of comic book fandom since day one. It's always been that way.
Good for you, dude.
Oh man,
Sergio, do casuals got it better?
absolutely.
They do.
They're just taking the content for what it is. You know what I mean? They're not dissecting shit. Us nerds, listen. This is what we do. We dissect shit. We overanalyze, for better or for worse. We're passionate about these characters and stuff. And even sometimes myself, just wanna. Sometimes you just kind of like clear the brain and just just take the content for what it is. Don't.
That's it.
Let's get in those. Well, I mean, everybody's gonna have an opinion. So, I mean, casual fans or the fanatics, the fans.
Oh no, I agree. Opinions are fine.
Yeah.
Don't act like you're an expert.
That's the thing. What Theo is talking about is when people try to convince you they know more because they've watched Civil War 30 times. Like, I read The Run, guy. Like,
I read The Run. Like, we own the entire your event. We know what it is.
All the tie-ins and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen Civil War 30 times, so I think I know.
No, you know the movie. You know the movie.
But sometimes when they do misquote a comic book, I'll hear people say something that's common, like, I hate to get back on the Black Panther thing, but they'll say, in the comics, Shuri was the Black Panther.
Oh, I hate that.
Why do you hate it? I might say something different than you might say. What would you say?
I hate it because it was such a brief stint, and also T'Challa was still present.
Yeah.
This goes back to the point that you were making, that people remain jaded. I think he made that people remain ignorant willfully, like they choose not to educate themselves, because that is such a obvious like mulligan. Like, she was in place for T'Challa as Black Panther, got denied by Bass, the god we were talking about earlier, Sergio. Got denied by her, said that she wasn't worthy, right? T'Challa is incapacitated, but not dead, and then eventually reassumes his title.
Hold on, Marcus. To add on that, it's not so much that they'll go, oh, but Shuri was Black Panther. Yeah, not because you read the comic and that's how you know. You know because you saw a YouTube video telling you. That's my problem.
True.
If you know because you read the comic,
you would never say that.
actually adds weight.
Yeah,
And
you
then
would never. If you knew that Shuri was Black Panther from reading it in comics, you would never use it as an excuse not
example.
to cast Black Panther.
Like, I never read it,
makes
so I
no
don't know.
sense. It's like, oh, the Bulls never needed Jordan. They went right back to the finals with Pippen when Jordan retired. Are you what? Huh? Did you see how that series played out?
It's all about how the series plays out. This is where she becomes the Black Panther, right? So you guys see this big book. This is her becoming the Black Panther. Here it is on the cover, okay? And the Do More story happens and all that. Few issues later, you see, guys, look how thick this is. This is called the Black Panther, the Man Without Fear. See what happens, even though Shuri is Black Panther, is they continued the story and they were following this guy here named T'Challa. It says it's collecting the Black Panther story from issues 513 of Daredevil to 523, and also, no, actually, it's 513 all the way down to 529. You can't see it. I don't even know why I'm bringing it close to you, but I'm just trying to say that for 13 to 29. For 16 issues in a row consecutively, they gave you a story of T'Challa. This whole time, Shuri's the Black Panther happening in Wakanda, and the cameras are not there. Like, they're like, okay, we're going to make Shuri the Black Panther, but you have to read T'Challa. That's the guy who's selling books. So he left Wakanda, and they followed him even after he was resurrected, and Shuri did what she was doing, and she made him alive, and everything's great. They followed T'Challa. Shuri met Spider-Man. There's like a little 4-part issue. I think it's called Claws of the Panther. I think it's called. There's like a 4-part limited series where kind of watch Shuri do some stuff as a Black Panther. That's all she has, and then she dies during the Avengers arc, the Secret Wars prelude.
I was just going to use the example. That's like saying Craven was Spider-Man for like what, 3 panels in the last hunt. So, so if they make Craven Spider-Man, then that's comic book accurate. Because
now would that ever even be, because that sounds comical, right? It sounds very far-fetched. It sounds like you're using hyperbole.
No, I'm doing it.
But then you hear people trying to rationalize M'Baku taking over the mantle of Black Panther. So compare that to Craven being Spider-Man, basically. Oh, he got it. You on it.
Yeah, Shuri meeting Spider-Man. That's it.
Oh, Shuri meeting Spider-Man. I thought that was the Craven comic he was talking about.
I don't got that.
Oh, I can get you.
But that's from this Doom War, large ass comic series. The final few, like, look how thick this is on this side, and look how thin this is. This is like the Shuri story. It's a little short Shuri story. My bad. Resume. You're talking about Craven?
Yeah, I was saying. Go ahead.
Or it's like, Doc Ock was Spider-Man too, so Doc Ock gets to be Spider-Man. That's comic. It's like, no.
That was a story that lasted a year?
But
Superior
again,
Spider-Man?
but again, it was a separate storyline. It wasn't part of. Well, technically, it was kind of. But
if you wanted to read Peter Parker, you could find Peter Parker.
You could still read Peter Parker. So it's like, just because you saw it on Comic Historian, you're not a comic book aficionado. Sorry,
man.
Craven is a protector of animals.
Not really, because he hunts them. That's why he goes after Spider-Man, because he hunted the big game, and now he went after Spider-Man because he wanted better game. That's why he goes after superheroes, because that's the new.
Oh, is that the new synopsis? Is that what they're doing under the Sony movie that they're doing with Aaron Taylor Johnson?
Brutal,
the protector of animals.
Yeah, I don't know who I said. Who said that? Was it the actor who said that his character was a protector and lover of
Christ?
And I that's. I don't know if he's just.
There have been issues. There have been, because I remember this one issue where there was a thing happening at a zoo, and Craven was actually freeing the animals. But again, he hunts them. He has them all mounted on his wall. He's got the heads of various. He's called Craven the Hunter, not Craven the Animal Protector.
I knew she was trolling you. I knew it.
But it's what's according to Sony. Yeah. No, Peter was dead. In 2013, Peter Parker dies because Otto Octavius switched bodies with him. If you wanted to read a Peter Parker comic book, though, it's not like they weren't publishing different things. Am I wrong to say that, Mike? I'm pretty sure that you could still find a Peter Parker comic. It wasn't like
There's
the
like
only
4
way to.
titles. There's 4 titles, so yeah, they're not gonna all. Because again, it was specifically called the Superior Spider-Man title.
If you wanted to read Otto, yes.
If you wanted to read Otto, and again, it rejuvenated the character because it was well written. Even though I hate the writer of that comic,
Dan Slott, he's going to be doing Spider-Man again, but that has nothing to do with this show. Actually, that is you're going to talk about that on your show, on the House of Nerd show, aren't you?
I don't read Marvel, man. We don't talk big. A lot of, we don't talk a lot of big two. To be honest, it's Marvel or DC. Nothing against Marvel.
When is Elle going to join my show? I sent her an invitation.
You know what? I hit her up before I jumped on too. I said, "Yo, you gotta come on, man." You know, Al's very reclusive, man. We gotta pull those strings, though. Yeah,
pull those strings. Tell her I want her.
She's lurking. She just hit me up. She's lurking. I was watching. Oh, come on, man.
Oh, good. We get steps. We're getting there. So tomorrow you're gonna stream around 11 o'clock Eastern time.
Yeah. So House of Nerd show. I'm one of the hosts there. We go live every Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, folks. That's 8 a.m. for those on the West Coast. And tomorrow we've got I don't know if you're familiar with the Philadelphia book. It's
Rodney Barnes.
Yes, sir. Rodney Barnes, doing big things. He's one of the showrunners on Winning Time, and he's doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So we're talking.
You actually have him? You have him on?
We've had him a couple times actually on the show. He won't be on tomorrow, but but we've had him on the show a couple times. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
The way I know you is because I think you had Chip Zdarsky on, and I follow him on Twitter. He tweeted out a link, and I'm like, oh look, there's guys. Elle, they're from here. Oh, you're from here. She's not from here, is she?
Elle's
from California.
She's out in Seattle. Yeah, she claims.
Why do I think she's in California?
She every once in a while she'll say she spent time in Cali with the essays, but I don't think so.
Okay, that's why I think she's from California.
Yeah.
Cool. House of Nerds. We'll go check him out. Then we got the Jaded Fanboy who might be away right now, so I'll go to.
No, I'm here.
Well, I didn't. You had your camera off, bro. What you got cooking on your show?
I gotta finish off explaining how ridiculous Kenobi was. I'm gonna be explaining how ridiculous Wonder Woman is, explaining how bad the Dark Knight is. That's
2 DCs.
Just making more. Well, I've done enough Marvel. I have to go to DC.
I don't watch your
Marvel. Enough. I have to go back to DC because there's not that much DC to deal with. Just making more videos telling you how the movies you love are ridiculous crap. So I would do Miss Marvel, except I don't care enough about that show to even bother.
You haven't even watched the most recent episode.
I've only watched episode 1 and I went, I don't care about this show. I don't even care. I don't even care enough to get mad to even rant about it. It's just whatever.
Jaded, promoting positivity. Okay. Man. And then we got a thank you also. Marcus from the back of the bus. What's happening on your channel?
We post a segment every day at 10 a.m. Eastern. So comic book reviews. We'll have X-Men Red 3 and 4. Sorry for the lateness on 3. I was out of town for a little bit, but we're caught up, and you'll get those out this week. We'll maybe be doing Black Panther. Maybe.
You have to do it. No, you got to do it.
I don't know.
Unedited.
I don't know, because we just talked about how, I buy all my comics, so I don't know if I'm going to spend my money on it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, drop the link, man. I'm going to check out Sub Up to your show there, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll put it in the chat. But yeah, one half of Back of the Bus, me and Josh every day, 10 a.m. on at Back of the Bus on Twitter and YouTube.
Okay. You guys are all asking for links. I guess I'm not going to close out this show. I guess I got to go find your guys' channels because I don't have moderators here. I'm going to right click and then copy, and then we're going to post the links.
Also, if I have the motivation, because apparently so many people love The Boys, I have to go through the episodes and explain how every one of them is just absolutely one of the most ridiculously written episodes ever.
You know what? I think I finally understand your name. I think I get it.
Yo, last week someone said the exact same thing. It was Ben from Attention Seeking Geek. He said the same thing. He's like, "Oh, the Jaded Fanboy. I think I get you now."
Like I started doing season 1, but then everybody stopped watching it. So I go, yeah, there's no reason to do it. But now all of a sudden there's this renewed love of this show. And it's like, oh my God, you people need help.
Yes, the back of the bus, absolutely. And then I would like to say that there's the first and the second link. Put the Jaded Fanboy in there too. Go watch him, and then
Again, I'm warning you, if you like the show or the movie I'm going to talk about, I even say in the beginning of every video, if you like this movie and you don't want to know about all the plot holes, plot conveniences, bullshit, stupid, go somewhere else. I warn everybody.
for Jaded Fanboy, for Back of the Bus, for the House of Nerd Show, I am Chillmonger. Goodbye and good night.